Hello, friends. This one's a fun one, and I'm not a fisherman by any means. I can fish, but my knowledge is very general. Today, I have my cousin Travis Hemsley on. He is just a fishing enthusiast. He travels all over the province to go fishing. This guy catches trophy-looking fish. Very knowledgeable. And joining him is my longtime friend, Bobby Maerz. Bobby, I hope I didn't butcher your last name. I'm never really good at pronouncing that. He is also just a fishing expert. He used to run the tours at Bear Kayak Fishing, which you might know out of Long Point Adventures. Super knowledgeable. These guys taught me a lot this episode. Same with True. We kind of covered all the bases, the history of fishing in Canada and laws behind what you can and can't do. A lot of good information in here, and a lot of good information for whether you're experienced or looking to start fishing. It's a good one. And today's cocktail is the Lake Erie Lure. This one is made of 1 ounce vodka, 1 ounce lemon juice, ½ ounce simple syrup, and 5 ounce blue curacao. I just shook this up in a martini shaker, and we topped this with a gummy worm because, you know, that's what fish like to eat sometimes. So we thought that was kind of funny. Hope you enjoyed this episode.
Hey you, you're listening to Just True, Just True, Just True.
Well, that's it. Podcast has started.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, excited to learn about some fishing today.
Well, we're going to teach you.
Yeah. And Trav, you just came from fishing
Yes, sir.
this morning?
Yeah.
And you got up at what time?
I got up at 3 to go.
See, I like fishing, but not that much. Not to get up at, 4 in the morning. And where did you go? Oshawa, you said?
Yeah. Yeah, we went out east tribs.
Do you often go that far for fishing? Like I know you fish here, but can you catch that kind of fish here?
You can. A lot fewer numbers, though.
Yeah.
Like our home creeks around here get 1,000 of those fish per year. Those get 10,000.
And I don't know the governing body that controls all that, but do they stock rivers and things around here?
Some rivers, yes. Some, no. So around our area specifically, no. All the populations are wild, but out Lake Ontario, east tributaries, a lot of them are stocked.
Mm-hmm. Because I know, Lake Erie's famous for perch, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, which there's that's school fish, so there's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're good, but they're tiny. They're tiny fish.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been catching some trophy fish there, buddy, on your Instagram.
Yeah, there's been some nice fish lately. It's been a pretty good winter.
I don't understand. Well, okay, so before we're recording, we were talking about how there's Facebook groups, is my understanding. There's fishing Facebook groups.
Oh, yeah. There's Facebook groups for anything out there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot for fishing.
And, I know Travis has been kicked out of a couple, but you, Bobby?
No, I keep pretty quiet. I use it more so for information.
Oh, God.
I feel like that's what a lot of people use them for.
Yeah.
So, people go there asking general questions, kind of what to use, what to look for, areas to try. And sometimes people give up the goods. Sometimes they don't, and they might be a little rude about it. But,
yeah,
for the most part, people are pretty decent in those groups. It's more so an educational thing, trying to help each other out on the water, get everyone catching some fish. There's a lot of them out there, so, and, it's fun when you get hooking into some fish, so, yeah.
Is there like beef over hey, you can't fish here, this is my area?
Not too much. Around here,
Yeah.
It's pretty sparse. I do know some stories of angling in the States, especially in the pro circuits down there, where, if you get encroaching on people's water, they get a little angry with you. But,
Yeah.
But for the most part around here, it's all recreational. As long as you're respectful and keeping your distance, for the most part, people do.
Yeah.
There's no issue at all.
Where do you fish around here?
Uh,
Where do you go? Where do you like to go? I'm sure you guys have different spots.
Where don't you go? Anywhere there's water around here, you're probably going to find some sort of fish.
Yeah.
we're pretty lucky around here.
Yeah.
We got the Great Lakes all within an easy, quick driving distance. We got a bunch of tributaries, a bunch of ponds and conservation areas that have a variety of Ontario species in them, and pretty much anything from panfish, we catch hundreds a day, all the way up to muskie and trout, and we got it all within about a 2-hour drive here, so we're pretty lucky.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I remember. Well, because you used to help run Barna and bear kayak fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I remember catching some pretty sweet fish out there.
Yeah.
And we went to some back pond. Like, what was the one? You do need a membership to get in.
Not
Is
a
it Deer
membership.
Creek
It's
or-
Deer Creek.
Yeah, Deer Creek.
I had a season pass there,
Right,
So
okay.
you could go in, but as long as you pay the daily admission or whatever,
Yeah.
then you can go in there and fish for the whole day.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay. And I know you like to go to. Is it Hay Creek? You catch some big fish?
No, there's not really too many fish in Hay Creek.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Because you've posted some pictures of some pretty big fish, and I figured you traveled for it, but you said it was around here. Sometimes.
yeah, sometimes. I mean, Big Creek's a big one around here. It's the one everybody knows.
Yeah.
There's quite a few fish to be had in there.
Yeah. Is there not or there were sturgeon in there at one point?
Maybe.
I
know-
remember going on a kayak tour, and the guy said there used to be sturgeon in there.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Big Creek goes on the south or the north shore of Lake Erie, Big Creek is kind of the biggest and most plentiful tributary that we have apart from the Grand River.
Yeah.
And I guess you could technically say the Niagara. More the smaller tributaries are more plentiful down in Ohio and Pennsylvania. You get more of the trout runs down there.
What do you mean by when you say tributary?
So a tributary basically just a river that feeds into the lake.
Okay, so it's feeding the lake.
Yeah, it's feeding
Fish,
the lake essentially. Yeah, so they're good spawning grounds for salmon,
Got it.
all the trout species.
Got it.
Suckers run up there, carp run up them.
Do we often have? Because I know at least Lake Erie, like bass, perch, it's all common fish to catch. But is like salmon and trout, like do people catch that in Lake Erie? Is it even deep enough?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All the
Okay,
time.
Yep.
I wasn't
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, all the time.
It's
People catch them trolling, bottom bouncing off piers. There's
Okay, so
tons of
even
ways
pier
to catch 'em.
fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can catch them off the pier. Depending on the time of year, if they're coming into the rivers to spawn, and you kind of catch them at the mouth there.
And what are you using to catch? Are you guys stick with like basic lures? Are you using particular bait for particular fish?
You could get as complicated or as simplified as you want it to.
Yeah.
It could be as easy as casting a spoon with a spinning combo off of a pier, or if you want to rig up some intricate float rig and float row down the river. Row being fish eggs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you can make it as it's tricky or as simplified as you want it to be.
And someone told me I wasn't familiar, but live minnows is only like a thing around here, or is it
Oh, no.
Ontario?
No,
Nope.
it's everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because somebody was telling me that other parts of the world they don't like it has to be dead because of like bacteria or I don't know, something that the fish can carry.
Yeah. So I know around here they do have bait management zones.
Oh, okay.
So the Great Lakes are their own. We're kind of in one in here, and then the borderline is kind of up in Bancroft area. Basically, if you are using bait fish, you can only use bait fish caught from that bait management zone.
Maybe that's what I was
That's
thinking.
probably
Okay.
what you're thinking.
Yeah.
And basically what that is, that's just to minimize the chance of invasive species getting into native waters. So we've seen a big problem with the round goby, zebra mussels, the rudd, things like that. They basically come in and they can change the ecosystems that are naturally occurring for better or for worse. Most of the time it's for worse. They'll eat the native fish eggs, kind of bring their populations down.
And I'm
Okay.
familiar, like if you catch a goby, you're supposed to kill it.
Yeah.
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 You're not
Yep.
supposed to put it back in the water.
Right.
What is a goby?
So-
Can you bring a goby up, Drew? Just curious what it looks like.
It's an ugly fish.
Yeah, they're pretty ugly. They're off the bottom for the most part. But basically, with from my understanding, it's with the Lakers, those big boats that ship through the Great Lakes, moving
Yeah.
steel or whatever it is around,
Yeah.
and they'll come in from the St. Lawrence, from over in Asia or Europe,
Yeah.
wherever they are. So basically, those ships are so big that they actually have to fill up the bottom, or in the keel there's a tank for a counterbalance depending on what they're shipping across the ocean. Yeah, there's a goby right there.
That's it there.
Click that image.
Yuck.
They do look kind of weird. Yeah, it's not a pretty looking fish,
No.
but what? They just destroy the vegetation?
No, they'll eat native fish eggs, so they'll
Oh,
perch up on a
eggs.
nest and they'll just clean up the nest. They're pretty. They're you,
The
you
eyes
see
on
by
that
the
thing.
yeah.
They
you
look
see-
very small.
They are very small for
They
the
don't
most
get
part.
very big.
Not
at all.
very threatening. I think I could take one.
Yeah.
Can you eat these?
No, I don't.
Uh,
I don't think you can.
Are there
but-
fish you can't eat or you just shouldn't eat?
Yes, yes, and
Yes
no.
and no,
I was gonna
yeah.
say, you can eat anything if you really want to bad
Yeah,
enough.
exactly.
But
Got
there,
it.
there are fish that taste better
Got
than
it.
others, of course.
Yeah, and things like mercury contents and stuff when you're catching fish out of Lake Ontario,
Right.
that can be an issue.
Because Lake Ontario, like Lake Erie, is it's much cleaner, in my understanding, than Lake Ontario.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say so. More so.
For the most part.
It's a Lake Erie being a sandier lake,
Mm-hmm.
and with all the marsh around it, it can kind of filter all those toxins out a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a lake like Lake Erie, or Lake Ontario, sorry, it's more of a gravelly bottom. The metals kind of settle at the bottom and hang around in the water a little longer.
Yeah. I remember hearing stories in school. I don't know. It would have been like 1800s, but people would go swimming in the lake and just come out like covered in oil because there was just so much pollution in like Hamilton, Toronto area. They go.
Yeah.
It's much better now. Like if you go to the beach in Hamilton, there are people swimming. Like, would I swim? I don't know. I don't know enough
Yeah.
about the water to want to go swimming in there, but
Yeah, I think it's cleaned up pretty well.
I think so.
Most places.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know enough about the history of that to say
Right.
too much, but
I do know that Lake Erie is especially interesting because back in the 60s, it was declared a dead lake, completely dead.
Like no living things.
For the
For the
most
most
part.
part.
Yep. No living things in the sense of natural vegetation and wildlife. Alive in the sense that it was all just algae blooms.
That's fucked.
yeah.
And so, how do we go from that to what it is now?
So basically, from my understanding, so how it got to that point was through a process called eutrophication. So basically, on both the Canadian and the American side, with all the industry, all the power plants and all the factories and agriculture, there was basically no Water Protections Act to keep them from pumping all that pollution into the water system.
Because wasn't it? I forget what city, but it was on the American side, and the canal caught on fire.
Yeah, in Ohio there.
Ohio.
Or Pennsylvania, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
The canal caught on fire, and that happened pretty much in correspondence with the lake being dead, and that was kind of like the okay moment. Like we gotta figure something out.
Yeah, and it's tough because I was talking about this with Amy, Mayor Amy, but we share a lake with another country, so it's
hard.
We both can pollute it.
Yeah.
And how do you? They have different laws than we do.
Yes and no. So with that, all the pollution going into the Great Lake, into Lake Erie specifically, a lot of nitrates, a lot of nitrogen and sulfates, and basically
From
from
farmland?
farming
Yeah.
and from industry and whatever you have it, and basically just these algae blooms took off, and then it just sucked all the oxygen out of the water. All the native plants, all the native fish, pretty much had no oxygen to breathe and just suffocated and died.
And as a kid, I was like, what? Fish breathe oxygen?
Yeah.
They don't have lungs.
Yeah.
How does this work?
Right.
But that's what the gills do.
That's what the gills do. And then once that canal caught fire, it was like that okay moment, and we basically signed the Great Lake Waters Act with the Americans, limiting pollution into the Great Lakes and cleaning them back up.
Limiting.
Yeah. So regulating it,
Yes.
essentially.
It's just the fact that they dump stuff into the lake in general is crazy to me.
Yeah.
But-
Just a little pollution.
Just a little
You're
bit.
allowed just a little bit of dumping.
yeah.
But anyways, yeah. But fast forward now, and the lake has bounced back tremendously. Walleye populations are through the roof. Perch populations are through the roof. We're getting a healthy population of muskie back in the lake.
And that's, I at least know for eagles, like if you have the top of the food chain and there's a lot of them, that means everything underneath.
Yeah, and
is-
I see eagles all over the place, all on the North Shore. I see them inland as far as Langton and Waterford,
Crazy.
Tilsonburg way
Yeah.
now. They're everywhere.
yeah, they're
all
flying above
along-
my house here.
Yeah, all along the Grand River.
It's good to see.
So yeah, it's pretty cool that in a span of about 50 years,
Yeah.
it went from being completely dead to one of the more thriving ecosystems in Canada. You know, designated a UNESCO World Biosphere now, and
Yeah.
one of the most significant ecosystem rebounds that we know in the world.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think we take that world biosphere for granted. Most people, I feel like there's people who live here like, wait, we have a what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, so many people have no
Yeah.
idea what we have here.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
and that's like a global thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how many there are, but like when you watch all those Planet Earths on Netflix and stuff, you're like, oh, this is a UNESCO World Biosphere. I'm like, oh, we have one. It's like
it'd be
10
cool
minutes.
to see. It'd be cool to see a planet Earth based on what's in Long Point.
Here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it'd be really cool.
Yeah. That's 50 years. It's it shows what you can do, and I know 50 years sounds like a lot, but it really isn't.
No, yeah.
No.
Given the size of the body of water,
Yeah.
and something like 97% completely dead
So it's safe to eat fish here then from Lake Erie.
for the most part.
Yeah.
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 So the Ministry of Natural Resources, the Fisheries Department, they every year they release a study, or not necessarily a study, but a guideline. So they'll go into all the bodies of water, lakes, ponds, rivers, whatever it may be, and they'll do a survey on the heavy metal content in the water.
Got
And then based off of those results, they will have a guideline for how many fish you should eat from that particular body of water.
And like, what are we talking here?
So it's, for the most part, it's pretty safe. Like
Yeah.
like with mercury or something like that, if it's something like 0.004 parts per million or something like that.
Okay.
So
I'm just wondering how much fish I have to eat to
you'll have to eat a lot.
Okay.
Like, so for example, like Deer Creek or Waterford North Conservation Area will have their own report, and it'll be something like a bluegill, and you can't eat more than like 300 bluegill a year without having to worry about
what a bummer.
without having it like show up.
I really
on a
wanted
talk
to eat
screen or
300 bluegill.
Yeah, I know.
What is a bluegill?
So bluegill, it's in the cichlid family.
What is a cichlid?
A cichlid. so
Educate me.
So a
pull it up.
cichlid is just a family of fish. They're basically smaller, kind of got spines on their dorsal fin. There's a bluegill there.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So they're one of the more plentiful fish around.
I feel like a non-educated fisherman, I would just call that a sunfish.
Sunfish, basically the same thing.
Okay.
Basically the same thing.
Okay.
They're
Just not
sunfish
much
or
difference.
a bluegill, a pumpkin seed. They're all in the same family. They're all in the panfish family and cichlid family.
People don't generally eat these, is my understanding.
Some people do. A lot of people love them.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
they're really good.
They're great. Yeah. Just like
Is there a
some
lo-
people like them better than perch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. They're a little smaller. Their scales are a little tougher to cut through with a knife. You can still do it, but I mean it's a flaky white meat just like a perch or anything else.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
the juice worth the squeeze for you, though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
they're
think
good.
so.
Yeah. And I've had the privilege of having pike with Bobby because that's an extremely hard fish to fillet, is my understanding. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. And we were with a buddy. I'm not going to oust him. Anyways, he was like, I'm not really good at this. And Bobby's like, I can do it.
Yep.
Fillets this baby up. We cooked it over the fire.
Yeah, it was pretty
was-
cool.
Really good.
Yeah, pike. They're fun. They're fun
Yeah.
to catch. They're
Yeah.
tasty, but yeah, they got a set of bones in them called Y bones, so you can't fillet them a normal way. So
They're a bony fish.
they're a bony fish, exactly, and that's the misconception is people think they're a bony fish. They're slimy. They don't smell the best. That they're just not a good tasting fish.
Yeah.
But that's couldn't be further from the truth. They're
And what's,
they're really tasty.
That part that everybody likes. They call it like the wing or something.
Oh, the wing. That's on the walleye.
Oh, the walleye.
The walleye.
So, okay,
Yeah.
what's the confusion between everybody's? There's different names.
Yep.
There's walleye and there's pickerel.
Yeah. So this is
Can
also
you-
This is going to be a big
Yeah.
fight.
All right,
so
let's dive in here.
So there's a big misconception that a pike and a pickerel are this, or a pickerel and a walleye are the same thing. So the generalization is that pickerel are a walleye, but they're not. A pickerel is in the pike family. There's a couple different pickerel species. There's like a chain pickerel, a grass pickerel, a redfin pickerel. If you pull up those pictures, Drew, you'll see what I mean by a pickerel and how they look like a pike here. There. So those are. Oop. There we
Just
go.
teasing.
Yep. So those are pickerel right there, technically, and they're in the pike family. A walleye is its own thing.
And how do you tell the difference?
Just by looking at
Just
it.
by-
you can-
yeah.
Just by looking, you can tell this tree.
Well,
is
So
a
if
tree,
you
by the way.
pull
It
up a
is-
walleye, you'll be able to see
Yeah.
the
So
difference.
that's a chain pickerel right there. It looks very similar to a northern pike,
Okay.
just based on the mouth shape. The
and a
fins.
pike pickerel walleye. Pike is just
pike are in the Esox family.
okay.
So
Okay. So pike is like the what's the word I'm looking for? Like there's feline, there's canine.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
And then
Yeah,
so their
exactly, but-
lineage would be Esox.
Got it. So if you catch a pickerel, you can just call it a pike, but it is a pickerel.
It is a pickerel. There's not too many of those guys around here. I haven't caught any in Lake Erie. I know they do exist, but for the most part, they're pretty rare. You find them a lot further down south.
So more so here is walleye.
And then so then walleye are a completely different species.
Oh,
But
so-
if you're ordering pickerel at a restaurant,
This is what you're
this is
getting.
what you're actually
you're getting
eating.
walleye.
You're
Yeah.
getting walleye.
Yeah. But I mean, the two terms pickerel and walleye have been used interchangeably
Oh,
for.
I
Yeah.
feel like I
Yeah.
can tell the difference between the two
Yeah.
fish.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. But it's just the confusion, and
Ho.
they've been. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a nice fish.
Yeah, the two terms pickerel and walleye have been used interchangeably for years, so people generally know what you're talking about. If you say pickerel, that's 9 times out of 10 you're talking about a walleye, and most people get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I will get that
Now you'll get that. Yeah.
if I can remember.
But people love to still fight about it.
Oh, that's
Okay.
That's what, and that's what we were chuckling about. People in
Yeah.
Facebook groups are always like people looking for pickerel, and then you'll get some smart guy saying like, "Oh, there's no pickerel around here, but we do have walleye," and people just
But that's what they meant.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
and then they were like, "Well, you know what I meant." It's like, it's a whole. I just laugh at those comments. I know what they mean.
It's
I
like
just-
Coke and Pepsi.
kind
It's like
of,
you
yeah.
go to a restaurant, can I have a Coke? Is Pepsi okay?
Yeah,
Well, is it Coke or is it
right.
Pepsi?
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, people get pretty fired up. It's kind of funny, but
Yeah, you just sit back and
You just sit back and laugh at it,
because
yeah.
Who really cares?
yeah,
And they're fun to catch because they struggle on the line there. They're tough fish. They're predator fish.
which one's the?
Sorry,
Yeah,
walleye.
Oh no, okay,
And
yeah,
pickerel.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Walleye don't typically fight great,
Yeah.
but you're usually fishing them in deeper water and stuff like that, so it can be a longer fight.
Yep. The bigger ones will fight a little bit.
Yeah.
Like they'll dog a little bit. They'll kind of stay down and keep you pinned. Whereas if you hook into a pike, you'll pretty much know it right away. Those things are so fast. They're like little freshwater torpedoes. They as soon as you hook up into one, they just take right off,
Which is a pickerel.
take and drag off. Yeah, it's a type of pickerel.
I'm learning.
The biggest, one of the bigger pickerel species. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I have caught a few.
yep.
Yeah, trolling with Brett actually. But is that like the preferred way to catch pickerel or
Pickerel
pike and like just trolling off the end of a boat, or how do you guys like to catch fish like that?
They're pretty easy for the most part. So
Yeah.
you can catch them trolling, you can catch them casting.
And what are you using? What kind of lures?
A little bit of everything. Anything that mimics a bait fish or something or some sort of small animal
Okay.
moving around, like
Okay.
a mouse or a frog. They'll eat it all.
Wow.
Mice? They'll eat mice?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Mice in the water or just
Mice on top of the water.
mice on top,
Yeah,
swimming on top.
Mhm.
Bass will eat them. Pike will eat them. Muskie will eat them.
Yeah, mousing is a big thing for brown trout as well.
Yeah, Yeah.
People fly fish with a fake mouse,
What?
and they'll come up and eat it.
What?
Yeah.
Never thought of using a mouse for bait
No.
before.
Never.
Yeah.
yeah. There's quite a few lure companies that actually make mouse imitation baits.
I had no idea.
Live Target makes one.
Live
Like-
Target makes everything.
Yeah, they make everything.
Yeah. If you want something, if you want to fish any creature in the world
Yeah.
as a lure, you can with Live Target.
Yep.
Okay. And what? This is a brand?
This
Yeah.
is a brand, not a plug, but a brand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
You,
Sorry,
you,
I
so you
kinda-
really like them? This brand? Okay.
I like them.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
I know nothing about fishing equipment
Yeah.
or brands. Yeah. So interesting. Okay. I remember we went out one time and I think we were taking Ashley's dad out.
Yep, that's what we were trolling that day too.
Right. And you
So-
bought some expensive lures. Like you had over $100 worth of lures.
Yeah, for like 5 lures. Yeah,
And we snagged
yeah.
the first 4 and I felt terrible.
but we got him back.
He got all of the lures back.
We got him all back. We pulled him up. We got him out of that weed bed.
Yeah.
We just went a little too shallow. Like we were riding
Yeah.
out a bluff bar there. It goes from about 3 feet of water to like 30 feet of water in a matter of 15 yards. So you're basically riding this sandbar, and all the vegetation's growing on the side, and basically that sandbar acts as structure, the weed bed acts as cover. All the smaller fish are there, and in turn, hunting those smaller fish are the big walleye and the big pike. And we were just fishing along that edge there, and we just got a little too close.
Yeah. Yeah. but like you took us out there for, I think it was somebody's birthday, Ashley's sister.
It was,
or something.
it was, it might have, I think it
Or
was
Ashley's
Ashley's
birthday,
birthday.
yeah.
Yeah, because it was late September.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
had all these beautiful lures, and I was
Yep.
like, "Oh no, I feel so
And-
bad! Like $100 worth of lures getting
But
snagged."
that's
That's
part of
fishing.
that's part of that's
Yeah,
fish. That's part of it.
fishing.
That's part of the game. Yeah. Sometimes you get the big fish. Sometimes you lose $40 worth of lures. It's the gamble you take. And I'll keep doing it.
Yeah. Not gonna stop
Not
me.
gonna stop me.
No.
Yeah, if it's a hobby you love, why
Yeah,
not? you know?
exactly.
I've broken $2,000 lenses before, so
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
yeah, it hurts, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, name of the game. What was I gonna say? So what have you guys been fishing recently? What were you fishing for this morning,
I was
Travis?
fishing for steelhead this morning.
Steelhead?
Yeah.
Okay, and is that its own fish or is that like a salmon?
Uh,
Steelhead salmon?
It's in the salmon family. It's in
Okay.
the same genus as a salmon.
Okay.
But it's not. It's a
It's a steelhead.
it's an anadromous form of a rainbow trout.
So it's
Yeah.
pickerel.
Yeah. So steelhead, they're a rainbow trout, but they do a
Oh.
migration as a salmon would.
Oh,
Yeah.
but it's not a salmon.
No,
It's
it's
a trout.
it's a separate species.
Look at the belly on that thing.
Yeah, they get big, especially out like you go to BC. They're Pacific species. They get real big out there.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I've seen guys fishing for them out in Oregon,
Yeah.
and when they come up the tributaries of the Pacific Ocean, there, those things, they're like 15, 20 pounds. They're giant.
Oh yeah, they're huge.
Hey, Bobby, you want to pull that mic over this way?
Yeah.
Like down a bit, and then angle it up. Because then when you look at me, that way your mouth's
There
still
we go.
into the mic.
Like that.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
perfect.
There we go.
They aren't actually native to the Great Lakes either.
Oh, where'd they come from?
They
Well,
were stocked.
They came from the Pacific Ocean.
Oh.
They were stocked.
Oh.
I think steelhead first in like the 1870s,
Okay.
and then thereafter salmon were early 1900s.
And was that because of people? Like, why didn't they make it into the Great Lakes like 1,000 years ago?
There's no real way or reason for them to come here. They live
In the ocean.
Yeah, on the west coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're born in a river, and then they spend 1 to 3 years in the river. They make their way out to the ocean to grow for another couple of years,
Yeah.
and then they come back into
back.
the river they were born in to spawn.
So they go from, that's cool, salt to fresh, fresh to
Yeah.
salt to
Yeah.
fresh again.
Yeah,
Yep.
And now they're in the Great Lakes, you said?
yeah. Now they're in the Great Lakes
And just strictly freshwater.
strictly
they're-
freshwater.
They're
so,
doing the same pattern, river to.
Same thing.
Yeah, river to a
Just-
large body of water. A lot of people will argue that they're not real steelhead, which I guess truthfully they aren't real steelhead, but they look the same and they do the same thing.
Yep.
Was this in your Facebook group?
No.
No, it
No,
wasn't.
How many
No.
how many Facebook groups are you not allowed in, Trav?
I think only 1 or 2.
That's not bad. That's not
Yeah.
bad. Bobby's too much of a sweetheart.
I
so-
just sit back and I just from the
Watch.
bushes, just watching the people argue
Yeah.
themselves.
And I don't typically mess with people too hard. I just like to have a little fun.
Had a few beers, got bored.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Stir some
Like
shit.
you catch a steelhead up in Oshawa, but you'll be like, "Oh, caught this in Lake Erie
Yeah,
this
I
morning."
got on Port Rowan Pier, and,
Yeah.
and people get mad about that. But I'm just having some fun, and everybody knows it. It's a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, those who actually know.
Those who know, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Do you travel much, Bobby, for fishing? Or I know you're busy with other.
I'm
things,
busy with
but-
other stuff, but every now and then I will. I'll go up north for some ice fishing, or I'll do the Saugeen River for steelhead and for muskie.
Okay.
Things like that.
I've heard of the Saugeen before. People do talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for fishing.
Yeah,
great
it's
great river for fishing, and just a great river to paddle in general.
Where is the Saugeen?
It's up
Georgian Bay.
yeah.
On Lake Huron.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm familiar with Huron.
Yeah, it's a big river. It holds a lot of fish.
Cool.
Yep. A lot of big steelhead, a lot of brown trout. You'll get the odd coho run.
What's a coho?
Coho salmon.
Oh, salmon.
So
okay.
another species of that Pacific salmon,
Cool.
and a lot of solid muskie population too. You get some big muskie in there, and a pretty good smallmouth bass population as well.
Do you guys both like to eat? You're not so big on fish, eh?
No, I'm not real big on eating fish. It's just
Love to catch them.
I love to catch them, but it's not something I love. Like I don't
Are you?
I don't enjoy the fishy taste.
Got it.
It just yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you competent in like filleting a fish up though for somebody?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I can do that no problem.
Okay.
And I've eaten some of every fish I've caught and capped, right?
Yeah.
But I typically, if I keep a fish, I'll usually give it away to somebody who likes it more.
Oh, like your cousin.
I could.
Yeah, and I'm kind of in the same boat too. I don't really like to eat fish that much. When I do, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it's for me, it's more about the fight and just getting the quick picture and then letting it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I see. I like when I go fishing. I'm like I'm going with the intention to eat.
yeah.
But I'm not like a fisher kind of guy. Like I
Right.
just go casually. Yeah.
Yeah.
With
There-
people who are much more advanced than me.
There are definitely times when that is the goal.
Yeah.
And you see,
yeah.
you're like, I'm gonna fill the freezer. I'm gonna have a bunch of fish to eat.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's a different kind of fun because now
Yeah.
you're like, it's almost like a hunting mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when the catch and release, it's just there to kind of catch the fish, have a look at it, interact with it a bit, and then just be as respectful as you can, handle it properly,
Yeah.
and let it just go back and do its thing.
Yeah, and I feel like people who love fishing as much as you guys, you're like, oh, I want to put this back so it can get bigger, and so someone else can catch it, or
Yeah,
I can catch it
exactly.
again when it's older.
When
and
it's
bigger.
older and bigger.
Yeah. What's the lifespan of most fish? Like, are they around for a long time? How big can they get?
Depends
It'll-
on the fish, really.
Oh, okay.
Depends on the fish. Depends on the water,
Yeah.
body water that it's in.
Mhm.
Okay.
They grow. I know fish that grow in the lake, like a smallmouth bass, for example. It takes almost 3 times as long to get the size that it would in a river than Lake Erie, for example.
It's just a tougher
So
life.
yeah, like
Yeah.
a 3-pound bass in the Grand River would probably be a 10, 15-year-old fish.
Oh, wow.
Maybe, or a 5-pound bass
Yeah.
would probably be a 10,
Yeah.
15-year-old fish, whereas that 5-pound bass here might be 5 or 6 years old.
Okay.
Just based on
There's just more abundance.
more abundance of food,
Yeah.
just a bigger area to grow.
Yeah, and it's just easier to live just hanging
Yeah.
out in the lake as opposed to swimming up a
Constantly,
river. all the
constantly
time.
swimming all the time.
Cardio is just on point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's just a real lean fish.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Jacked
And those
fish.
fish, like for their size, they fight hard.
Yeah.
Because they're
Oh.
always going.
Yeah, true.
They're fun fish to catch, even though they might be a little bit smaller.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So, ice fishing. Have you gone this winter,
Yeah, I've been out a few times.
Bobby?
I have not been out one. I was gonna go with Barna and his friends. We do a trip every year up north and up in the Bancroft area, and we just fish a bunch of those lakes up there. They stock trout up there, so we just make a weekend of that. But this weekend that we went happened to be when I was in South Carolina, so couldn't go this year.
The first time I went ice fishing, I was like, I don't get this. Also, it's like falling through ice is a terrifying thought to me as well.
Yeah.
But then I tried it, and like they had, some of them have cameras, and it's warm, and you're drinking beer or not drinking beer. That's legal. But I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like I get it. I could totally get into this. But the last time I went was in the Inner Bay Long Point, and it
Yeah.
hasn't froze over in the last 2 years.
We haven't
Yeah,
really
it's
had
been
ice
2
in
years.
2 years
Yeah.
there, so
Oof,
Yeah, the year before was a great season, but
nothing.
that's been it. And it was a couple years before that we didn't get ice too.
And people were driving quads out to like Bait Island. Like it was,
yeah. Oh yeah,
the whole bay was
it
frozen.
was frozen. 2 years ago when I was out there, there was a guy ripping a Honda Civic.
Nice.
There was a guy,
That's
and he
fucking
got it
cool.
stuck. He got it stuck in a snowdrift like 3 times.
Out on the lake.
Yeah.
Oh
It's just like,
boy.
this guy is.
Yeah, I saw a guy out there in his 4Runner,
yeah. Yeah.
which is a little heavy for me, but
Yeah.
you do you.
Since they're ice fishing, do you think they have fishtails on
They might.
Good one.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be taking my car on the ice. But
Yeah.
No. There.
Hey!
A little late on that one. I got
good.
it. I got it.
But yeah, you won't catch me taking my car out. Doesn't matter how thick the ice is. As soon as you're off road and you're on that ice, insurance is gone. It's non-existent. You might as well not even have it.
Oh, because they're like,
You're uninsured as
Like,
soon as
hey,
you're on the
my-
water,
They're not gonna come drag your vehicle. out
my
of the
engine's
lake.
not working.
and they're not going to pay for it either.
It's also
so
in the
Yeah,
lake.
exactly.
that's all. That's
I
all on
believe
you.
you do have to have insurance though to go out there.
Yeah,
They just don't cover you.
they just don't cover you.
I think
yeah.
they'll only cover liability like if you hurt somebody else or something like that.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it'll happen. Like guys will put their trucks through the ice every now and then.
Oh
too.
yeah, it happens every year.
yeah.
Or people line up, they make a parking lot on the edge of the ice, and they all park together. And eventually, by the end of the day, all the cars have gone through.
Oh,
I see it every year.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that happened.
And usually it's only in a foot or two of water, so it's not a huge deal.
Yeah.
But still, it does happen.
But yeah, especially later on in the season
Yeah.
when the first thing to thaw and soften up is the edges of the water
yeah.
where everyone's parking. So you can have 16 inches of ice out where you're fishing, but then it could soften up real quick, get a little warmer.
I feel like
And-
you wouldn't be getting your car out of there, no? How would you get a car out?
Depends on what your car is and
Oh.
who your friends are, really.
Like if so in the summertime, like are there cars in the lake?
No.
Okay.
No,
So they eventually get them out somehow.
They get them
Yeah.
out somehow. So and every year never fails too. Someone will leave their ice hut out a little too long, and it goes into the lake. But there's a recovery process before. Just it's a safety hazard come the springtime for boaters.
boats, yeah.
So yeah,
What's the general rule of thumb as far as the thickness of ice goes? Like when is it safe and not safe to go out?
generally anywhere from like 2 to 4 inches is safe to walk on. I still don't think that's enough.
Yeah.
For myself personally.
2 to 4 inches sounds like a lot to me.
Yeah.
That's average for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Above
what-
average.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Huge.
Massive.
Yeah.
Lots of ice.
That's
actually.
all you need.
Yeah.
But you need more ice is what you're saying.
Yeah, I just for a safety factor. For me, there's no fish out there worth risking my life.
No, absolutely not.
So I like to go out there when there's about 6 to 7.
Okay.
It's a pretty good buffer, and then I usually walk out, so I don't need to worry about quads or sleds or
Okay.
side by sides. So
Okay.
once I got 6, I'm
And
good to go.
Are you using fish hut? Or are you just fishing through a hole or you got a little tent set up?
I've got a little clam shell
Okay, yeah.
pop-up hut, so it basically doubles as a transportation sled, and then you pop it up and over top,
Nice.
and
Yeah, I've seen one of those before.
yeah.
I went out once. My uncle lent me his fishing tent, and I went out with, I think it was Scott Pond, and it was so windy this day. We would spike it down on the ice, it would just rip out of the ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just no traction.
That's the one thing.
yeah.
Until you're in that situation, they're great, but then when it's a windy day, you're like, this
Yeah.
isn't working.
But we took the whole day off, so we're like, you know what? So we drilled some holes, kind of used the, I think we hit a snowmobile. We used it as a bit of a windbreaker.
Yep.
And then one of his buddies pulled up with a clam, so we kind of squished in there. And,
Nice.
yeah. But a nice permanent fishing hut is nice.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
I don't actually have one of my own.
I feel like it. My thought was it'd be fun to build one and then have a podcast in a fishing hut.
That'd be fun.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the bay hasn't froze over, so it's like
Yeah, I've had plans. Like I've had plans to build one for a couple of
Yeah.
years, but we haven't got ice, so there's no point in
I
building
know
it.
it's a
Having it sit there.
Is
Yeah,
this a
it's a
new
gamble.
thing or does the bay not often freeze?
It's a newer thing.
It's a
Yeah.
newer thing.
100%.
Yeah.
That's sad.
So, and it'll cycle. Like you never know what the next year's gonna bring. We might have like 6 weeks of solid ice next year. You just never know until it comes. But yeah, no, I was in the same boat as you, Trav. I was looking to build one, but it's not worth it.
Not at all.
Now I'm just gonna buy a boat now
Yeah,
and be able to fish like 11 months of the year.
That sounds great.
Like this year, I could have been out every weekend
yeah.
on
Yeah.
a lake in a
pretty
boat.
much.
So
And you used to have a really nice boat.
yeah,
Was it aluminum?
yep. Deep V,
Yeah, which
is
is
a tracker.
why is that good for fishing?
Deep V's are good for Lake Erie because they cut through the chop
okay.
really smoothly.
Okay.
Once you get a boat like a skiff or like a John boat where it flattens out a little bit at the bottom, they're pretty darn stable. But once it gets choppy, it's a rough ride essentially.
But you sold it to somebody in the same arena,
Yeah,
and they sometimes lend it to you.
sometimes, and then they sold it again.
Oh,
and now
did
it's
they?
Gone. So now it's gone. So now
Oh.
I got to buy my own boat.
Oh, bummer.
But we'll get there.
Are you often? Do you go out boat fishing much, or do you have friends with boats? Or
Not really. No, I don't have too many friends with boats. I got a kayak, stuff like that.
that'll work.
I can get done most of what I need to with that.
Cool.
Just fishing from shore too. There's tons of spots from shore around here.
Yeah.
You don't have to go too far.
So all these like recent fish. Pull up Travis's Instagram. I have there. Look, where are you catching these fish?
In the
Wow.
water.
Like this all looks on land.
Yeah, these are all in rivers.
So you're just wearing
So-
waders.
Yeah, I'm just walking along the river.
What is that fish?
That's a steelhead.
That's a steelhead.
That's a
there.
steelhead.
Yeah. A lot of, pretty much all of these recent ones are gonna be steelhead.
And it's just like, why do they call it steelhead? Just a massive head, bony head.
They get like there's probably a couple pictures in there of them super chrome, like they'll be bright silver.
Yeah, when they come in from the lake, they're just like little silver bullets, and
Yeah,
then
that-
that's a brown trout.
Yeah,
there.
that's a brown trout.
And this is all. How far are you traveling for these fish?
That looks like, is that the Niagara?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Niagara. So a couple hours. I mean, some days we'll walk 20, 30 kilometers.
What is that one?
That's a pink salmon.
Pink salmon.
Look at the hump on that thing. Looks like a camel.
Yeah.
Got a big brain.
Mm-hmm. That's a king salmon right there.
That is. I like. Look at the weight of your hand. Like
Yeah.
the belly just sinking around your hand. That
Yeah,
looks like
that
a
was a
heavy
big
fish. And you're just tossing these back, eh?
Yep. For the most part, we kept a few for eggs for
Okay.
fishing.
Okay.
Like, so we can make bait.
What you kept them for eggs?
Yeah, so we'll keep the fish, and they're full of eggs because they're running up the creeks to spawn.
Whoa.
We'll keep those eggs and cure them, tie them into roe bags to catch more fish.
More fish.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
So yeah, we'll catch these fish to keep their eggs to catch steelhead then in the fall throughout the winter and into the spring.
Damn.
Are there laws around fish that are spawning or different seasons and things like that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
tons of them.
So you can just take a fish that's about to spawn and keep it, even though it has all the eggs. Like what's
Not necessarily. So they'll close. So after like the end of the year, most rivers are closed for fishing.
and what time of the year is this?
December 31st.
Oh,
end of
literally
the
the
year.
end of the year.
The end of the
Okay.
year. So they're all closed. Is it? Yeah, it's December 31st.
Yep. Usually.
Yeah, okay. And then there's certain rivers, like Big Creek is one, you can fish up to a certain point in that river.
Okay.
Past that is considered their prime spawning grounds, so you're not allowed to fish up there.
Okay, so they're
until
protecting them.
the end of April.
Okay.
Yeah. Rivers can be where the regulations get a little bit tricky.
Mm-hmm.
So I know of Big Creek, there's a certain road that if you fish downstream from that road to the lake, it's open all year.
Oh, okay.
And then
Yeah.
there's a dam in Delhi that if you fish from the southern point of that dam to this particular road, the season extends for like one more month than it would normally. And then anything above that dam closes like September 31st or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Where are you finding this information?
It's all online. It's all the Ontario fishing regulations.
The Ministry of Natural Resources, they print out a fishing regulation book every single year. And
Okay.
for the most part, it is pretty much identical to the year before, but every now and then they do add in some changes. So,
Yeah. They changed you're able to fish with 2 rods for perch now.
yeah. So that was a new one this
Yeah,
year.
that was a new one this year.
2 rods for one person.
Yep, 2 rods per
so
person.
in the inner bay, it was you used to only be allowed 1 rod per angler in the inner bay,
Okay.
but this year they changed it that you can have 2.
Okay.
But inner bay being from pretty much Turkey Point to Pothawk there. So inside that the little nook inside the entirety of Long Point Bay.
Okay.
So there was people getting in a little bit of trouble. They'd fish the Long Point Bay, which is from basically the tip of Long Point to Nanticoke.
Yeah.
And you're allowed 2 lines out there.
Okay.
But when they come into the inner bay, they were under the assumption that that rule still applied. And the ministry would get them every now and then. The resource officers would get them for fishing with extra lines in the water.
Huh. And most often is it fines?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything serious you can commit fishing wise that would
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
get you arrested?
Yep.
What
Yeah.
Yeah.
what are we talking?
Poaching.
Poaching.
Yeah, poaching, fishing out of season, being over your limit.
Yeah.
What poaching as in
Like catching fish out of season.
okay. Okay.
Or just like, going to like Big Creek, they've got the fish sanctuary there up until the 4th Saturday in April.
Got it.
And if you're in there and you're just, you can see you can go walk it, you can look at these fish, you can see them. And then there'll be people there, you like snag, theoretically they could be snagging them, pulling them out of the water, keeping them, get basically shooting fish in a barrel,
Oh,
essentially.
have you ever run into this before?
I've run into
yeah.
it one time.
Do you ever say anything?
Yeah, so where we fish to catch those salmon season on the East Tribs is bad for snagging. We actually ran into a guy that was fishing with a sling bow. So a slingshot and a bow put together. He was trying to shoot fish as they were swimming up this run.
He's like
So-
sort of like spearfishing. He's got a
Yeah,
rope. Oh
exactly.
my god.
Which is
Super
so illegal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously we said something. We yelled at him, told him to get out of here, not to be doing that. But yeah, it happens all the time up there. It's real bad.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Especially with the size of the fish going through that shallow
Yeah.
water too, because half the time the fish is half out of the water. You can go out there and just grab
Pick it up,
you
yeah.
pick
Oh,
it
yeah.
up. And I've seen guys do that too,
Mm-hmm.
where they're just picking them up and taking them.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Guys will try and just net them. Just walk out there with a big net and let them swim
Scoop
into
'em
it.
up.
Yeah.
What, and at least during that season for salmon, like what's the limit on a salmon? Should you really be keeping fish during spawning season? Like, is there a time when you shouldn't be eating them?
So the
and-
way a lot of the regulations work is like with the salmon and the trout is the season opens towards the tail end.
okay,
So they've had enough time for the majority of the fish to come through, do their spawning, do their thing, and then with the case of the salmon, the Chinooks they'll basically die after
Yeah,
they spawn,
they will die.
and then the
Nice.
cohos and the trout they'll go back into the river for the most part. So basically, when the season opens up, they're all like 90 to 95% of those fish have already gone through the entire process. So you're just getting the tail end of what's left.
okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah, and a lot of those fish that have already gone through the whole spawning process are not fish you're gonna want to eat.
That's what I was
Yeah.
saying. Like, if they're naturally dying,
Yeah, they
know?
basically just turn into zombies.
Yeah.
There'll be bones sticking out of their tail, their skin's falling off.
oh my
It's-
god,
Yeah,
Like those king salmon that were there, those green ones.
Yeah.
Like those are silver when they go into the river.
yeah,
oh,
hmm
oh,
yeah.
then-
They're chrome fish when they go in.
oh wow,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, so now that I know that, they look a little sickly.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
but fun to catch.
Still fun to catch.
Still fun to
yeah,
catch.
Yeah.
but not something I'd want to eat.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Some guys do. I mean,
Apparently they taste really good smoked.
Yeah.
I've never eaten them in that state.
No, me neither.
Travis, weren't you saying you were fishing with some Ukrainians and they had this fermented fish or something?
Oh yeah. So yeah, that we
hey
take
Drew, can you just check that and make sure it's still going? Sorry.
that's okay.
Good? Rolling? Perfect.
Cool.
Good. Yeah, so we made a friend from Ukraine, took him out fishing and stuff. And the one day he wanted to bring some of his snacks from home. And yeah, he pulled this little bag out of his pocket and it was salt cured calamari.
Oh, it was squid.
It was squid, yeah. And it looked like shredded cheese in a bag. That's what it looked like.
What was the texture of it?
The texture.
Is it like dry, like a jerky, or
It wasn't horribly dry. It still had a little bit of moisture, but it was real chewy and real nasty.
I was gonna say that smell.
Yeah. It didn't smell all that strong, but you put it in your mouth and it's straight up, it just hits you in the face with salt.
I was gonna say probably just a salt bomb.
Yeah, it's a horrible salt bomb.
He got assaulted.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was waiting for that.
Thank you.
I'm getting faster.
And then yeah. After that salt wears off, it's the strongest fish flavor,
Which you don't like, is my
which
understanding.
I absolutely do not like. I don't like any fish flavor at all. And that was the strongest fish flavor I've ever tasted.
Dang.
Yeah.
I've had something similar. It was not from out east, but I've had fish that was brought back from the East Coast, and it was basically that same. It was like cured cod,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing. So it just hits you in the face with salt, and it's got that fishy taste to it. But it's just like that traditional preserving method that they had before ice and refrigerators. And
I was on a cruise that was traveling from like Copenhagen to Norway. And on the buffet line on this overnight cruise, they had fermented herring.
Ooh.
And that stuff, have you smelt that stuff?
no, but I've seen videos of people that have.
Oh my God. And I was like, I know this is like their thing. It's known there. So I was like, I gotta try some. It is pungent. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, there's a Swedish brand. I don't remember what it's called, but it comes in a can or
Oh.
a jar, and it just There's videos where people are opening that up for the first time, and they're pretty funny.
And herring's like is it like what is it? It's like a small fish?
Yeah, it's like a little schooling fish.
School fish? Okay. And they pickle it
Yep.
or whatever,
Yeah.
ferment it. Oh, it's supposed to be really good for you because I know like ferment things like kimchi and things like that.
Yeah, like
kombucha.
all the
you know.
fermented.
But no.
No, not for me. Not for me.
No.
No. That must go back to like the Viking days, I would assume, but I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I
don't know.
actually learned about an interesting fish Viking dish the other day.
Okay.
They would take, I think it was cod, dry it out,
Okay.
and then soak it in water, and then soak it in lye, which is like to make soap.
Oh.
And then to get the lye out, because if you eat that, it'll kill you. It would turn into this jelly, and then they'd soak it in water again, and then eat it. And it was like this fish jelly that apparently they love, and they still eat over there now.
Drew, can you pull this up?
Yeah, pull this. I forget what it was called.
This. Why not just eat the
How do
fish
I-
when you catch
I
it?
think it's Norwegian, actually. Look up Norwegian fish jelly, maybe.
And okay, so and lye is a process for soap.
Lye is
a-
an ingredient in soap.
Sodium something
Okay.
is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is.
I want to know what
I know
this-
that it's like a powdery granule powder that if you add it to water, the water temperature will rise.
Yeah,
very hot.
exactly.
So I'm sure, yeah, if you ate it, your insides would
Yeah,
boil.
it's definitely not good for you to eat.
No.
Lutefish?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Are we looking up? Do you want to see what it looks
I just
like?
want to see
I
what
do. I've just heard about it on another podcast. I've never seen it or smelled it or anything.
next time I have you guys on, I'm gonna have it here. And I'm gonna have pickled herring.
Yeah. Yeah, so it kind of just turns into like a weird jelly, I guess.
I have a hard time understanding why.
That's the biggest mystery. I don't know why you do
Ooh.
that.
Look at that with the blue plate there.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
that one looks
That's
like
nasty.
it looks like it. Yeah,
Like
Ye-
it.
yeah.
fish jello.
Yeah, apparently it's the consistency of Jello.
I don't like that.
I would try it.
You would try it?
I would try it.
I don't
would
think
try
I
it?
would try it.
I love Jello. So,
But-
it'd be like fishy Jello.
Oh, I could pass on Jello.
Are you big on fish?
I love fish.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I fish? No.
No.
No, which is
And I love
surprising
fish
'cause
too,
you
and
know
I
my
don't
uncle.
Yeah.
It seems like the fishermen like to catch release, and the people who don't fish, like, yo, give me that fish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll take that off here.
Yeah. But I like to cook, so,
Mm-hmm.
and I like to cook fish. Fish
I
is
actually
good.
don't know how to cook fish.
Actually? Have you
Yeah, I have before a few times, but it's
Man,
not
if-
one of my
like-
go-tos.
Like salmon's so easy. You just put a little bit of garlic
Yeah,
and
I've
lemon
done
on it,
salmon,
throw it in the
yeah.
oven for 10 minutes,
Yeah,
and it's
it's
done.
Awesome.
yeah,
Because it's not like a steak or a chicken. Like, you can eat undercooked salmon. It's
you could eat undercooked steak.
that also,
Well,
yes.
Yeah.
Chicken's the only one.
Chicken, I wouldn't recommend.
The salmonella.
Yeah.
It's a great area.
Apparently, yeah.
I've seen a guy online eat raw chicken breasts as
Yeah.
first attention online, and I was like, "Yo,
Was he the one doing the daily challenge where he's
I
like, I'm gonna
think
eat raw?
so.
I have a friend that shares his video on his stories all the time. He's like, I'm gonna eat raw chicken until I get salmonella, and he was up to like day 28 last time I checked.
Yeah, it's fairly safe.
Yeah.
All food nowadays is fairly
Yeah,
safe, but
all-
there's
all
always
food
that
prep.
risk.
Well, I know most fish, if you buy at the store, that it's been flash frozen
Yeah.
before, and that's what kills everything in the fish.
Yep.
If there's parasites or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what you have to have, like for sushi, right? It
Yeah.
has to be
Has to be flash frozen.
before.
are you sushi? I know you're not a sushi guy.
No.
You, Bobby?
Really?
I don't mind it.
You don't mind it?
I have it every now and then. Leah doesn't like it, so we never have it as an option. But
Does Leah cook a lot of seafood dishes?
not
No.
too much. We
Okay.
do a lot of rainbow trout,
Okay.
some salmon. We like to do a beer battered recipe for all the white flaky meat fish as well.
Okay. I'm curious if she knows how to make the black ink pasta, being an Italian.
She probably does. She probably wouldn't like it.
It seems weird
But,
to me, but do you
yeah.
know about that
Yeah,
dish?
I know about that. It
Yeah.
looks interesting.
Italian dish. I think I don't know where in Italy, but
Yep.
is that still going, Drew? Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, she's not a big shellfish or like squid or
I love all of
octopus
it.
gal. I
Yeah.
love it all too. But yeah, she'll eat the flaky white meat.
Okay, cool.
So all the beer battered fish and all the fried stuff, and
Yeah.
then even the rainbow trout. We have a couple real good rainbow trout recipes.
Nice.
And
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
trout and salmon I often will just like cook with some herbs and lemon or whatever.
Yeah.
I won't bread them.
Yeah.
But then the whitefish, yeah.
Yep.
Whitefish
Yeah.
and bread.
Yeah,
White-
I don't mind whitefish, stuff like that. And I also don't mind trout. It's just not my favorite thing.
I would trout's a little more fishy than anything.
Yeah,
a little bit
exactly.
more.
Yeah.
And I'll still eat it on occasion, but it's not something I'm looking for. I'm not going out catching trout, steelhead, salmon
Yeah.
to get that meat because I want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even with when I'm eating them too, like I love it. But the moment I get like a little bone or something, it just turns me right off the rest of the dinner.
Sometimes
rest
they'll
of the meal.
stab you in the roof of the mouth. You
Or
know
yeah,
that
just like you
happen?
get this like tiny little thin
Ugh.
bone, and I'm just like, it just turns me right off of it
Yeah, I understand
until
that.
the next time. But
Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard to get them all. They're
hard
so,
to get them all. They're so tiny
yeah.
and they're so pretty much blend in.
so tiny. Can we can we explain to people what a mud puppy is? Not to take a left turn here, but
No,
the
that's
first
what's
time I
up.
ever saw a mud puppy, I was ice fishing and I pulled this thing through the hole and it started screaming and I was like, "This is not a fish." And then all of a sudden, legs
you're
came
right.
out.
Yeah, it's an aquatic salamander is what it is.
Oh.
Do you
They're
know?
native,
Yeah.
they're native species. They've been here the entire time.
Do you know about these, Drew?
No, they look
That guy there's
adorable.
an that guy
It's
there's an
little
axolotl.
That's an axolotl.
That's an
yeah.
axolotl.
See the
They're a crazy
yeah,
looking
that
thing.
one.
yeah, that thing.
And we run into issues out ice fishing because people catch them all the time.
Yeah,
out
that's a
there,
good picture of one.
And they leave them on the ice to die because they think they're invasive.
But they're protected.
They're protected.
they're
They're
protected.
protected species. Yeah.
Sounds like a hefty fine to me.
Yeah.
It would be, yeah.
And at least my experience ice fishing, they would like stick around the hole and scare the
Yeah.
other fish
They
away.
just they'll sit there all day long.
Just peck it.
Yeah.
I
Like, you
saw a
just see
pike
it
come
there.
up and it pecked at the pike and the pike took off. We're
Yeah.
like, no.
How big are these things? They look really small.
They can get like
Pretty decent.
3 feet long, I
Yeah,
think,
they
at the
pretty big.
most.
And they
Okay.
squeal, Drew. Type in
Yeah, there's a good one.
Yeah.
type in mud puppy squealing and see if you can pull it up on YouTube or something or find a video. You got to hear this thing. It's you ever hear like a frog squeal on like one of the National Geographic? It's such a strange sound.
It is.
Is that going on the TV? Oh, you know what? Just pause it for a sec, Drew, if you can. So go to you're gonna have to go on the monitor. Go to preferences.
On this one?
Yeah, the Apple symbol. Yep. System, and then go to sound, and then you'll have to hit the soundboard. So it goes to the soundboard.
Roadcaster main stereo? Or
Sure.
chat?
Maybe chat. I'm not 100%.
I clicked it.
Probably stereo.
I clicked.
Okay,
I'll click
give
stereo.
it a shot. I forgot to set that up
All right,
beforehand.
I clicked it and now I'm gonna press.
Let's see if that works.
How do I get this? stupid
Guess,
TikTok
maybe?
out of the way?
Continuous guess.
I'm not even on TikTok.
There we go.
Cool.
I see nothing. Oh! I got one! Mud puppy! Wow, when it's under the water like that, you can really see those gills bloomed out to the sides. Now, for a second I thought, well, is it a mud puppy or is it a baby hellbender? You can see when it's out of the water, its gills are pressed up
It's not
against
gonna
the
squeal,
side
is
of
it?
its head.
No, I don't think so.
What's a hell? Do you know the difference?
A hellbender, yeah, they can get like 4 feet long.
Oh,
Yeah, they're just a giant salamander.
They're
though.
just a giant-
They're
yeah.
not fully aquatic like mud
Yeah,
puppies.
they're
are.
not around here.
Yeah.
But they basically you find these things in rivers and
it's literally a dog.
Yeah.
Type in what are you on right now? TikTok?
Apparently. I
Just
thought
go
it
to
was on
YouTube or something or Google videos. I fucking hate TikTok so much.
I didn't know you could. There was a desktop.
Yeah, just type in like mud puppy squealing or something like that. What the fuck?
those
Here we
are
go.
different.
different.
What
Yeah,
happens when
Yeah,
you
those
switch
are
to
mud
affordable home
skippers.
internet
Oh,
you can actually count
That's
on?
a different strange fish from
Just hit back.
long way.
There's there's a back button on the mouse, Drew. It's built in.
Happy you. Now with internet.
I thought I pressed.
Oh, we just gave Kudo a free sponsor. Scroll down.
Common mud puppy.
Sure.
Yeah.
This guy's like, fuck.
Oh crap, what is that?
Oh, that'd freak me out.
Yeah.
That'd freak me the fuck out.
Yeah, and it looks
That's-
like a fish until it starts walking.
Water salamander. It's great. I know exactly what I'm looking for, so I'm gonna go get my pliers, get that hook out of there, and
They don't
Ooh,
always
release.
squeal, but when they do, it's
Alright, I'll just
it
leave
is
them in the
so
water.
strange. Ah,
You might just have to make the noise, Drew.
Yeah, give us-
I don't even want to attempt it.
Give me your best mud puppy.
I'd have to inhale some helium and then scream.
They're kind of cute though.
Back out of this.
they're real interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah.
They look so much like a fish, and then
Yeah.
they start walking. Just keep scrolling. I'm just curious.
And they're really not that scary. I mean, that's half my job when we're doing ice
Go up.
fishing is taking mud puppies
click.
off for people.
Yeah,
Nobody
Yeah.
will touch them.
click that one. Look at it.
It's a big one.
There it goes.
There you go.
It's pretty big. See if he can find his way back into the hole. Go the other way, buddy.
What wild little dinosaur things?
He's moving so slow.
And they just murk up your ice fishing hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll they'll scare the perch away, stuff like that. Usually, what I'll do is if I catch one, I'll grab it. I'll go drill a hole
Put it in
as
another
far
hole.
away as I
I was
can.
gonna say
that's
and
exactly what I'll
drop
do.
it back down
Yeah.
to the bottom because as soon as it hits bottom, it's just gonna sit there.
You should almost pre-drill a mud puppy hole.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do.
Yeah.
Or if you move spots, you just go back to your old holes or something like that.
Fell off.
I'm invested in this mud puppy getting back to its hole.
It's going. Just,
There he goes.
And do they eat fish? Like, what do they?
Yeah.
They do eat fish. What a weird creature.
There he goes.
I pulled that out and I didn't know what it was beforehand, and I was like, what's happening?
If you don't know, it's definitely like a weird
Bit of a shock.
thing. Yeah.
Because you think you pulled in a fish and then it starts crawling and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Fish don't have hands. What's
Fish
going
don't
on?
have
Yeah.
hands.
What's
What is going
here?
on here?
I'd be convinced like I found like an evolving fish. I'd be like, oh, holy shit.
Yeah, I fish with a guy that's absolutely terrified
Of-
of mud puppies. If one is in the hut on anybody's line, he's
He's out.
out of that hut.
Really?
He's gone, screaming, running.
But he'll catch a pike with teeth and.
Yep, doesn't bother him at all.
I heard of, was it a couple summers ago, some lady lost a finger from a pike? It just like attacked her. I don't know if she had shiny rings on her hands or.
I know that's. I don't know if I haven't heard any pike doing that, but I do know that muskie sometimes attack people.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
I haven't heard of anyone losing fingers, but I've seen pictures of people like on a paddleboard or something, their foot's dangling in the water, and then it looks like they do some damage. They don't take the foot or anything, but they cut it up pretty good.
Oh, well, I don't want to say the person because I don't want to oust him, but the one time he was fishing and he went to hold the pike
Oh,
like a bass
Yeah. I've seen a few of those.
or a perch.
I've seen a few of those. Yep.
Yikes. And then, yeah.
yeah, I've got bit by pike so many times.
Really?
Oh yeah, just
Ugh.
not paying attention because you'll usually pick them up by the gill. You're not paying attention to where your thumb is. It ends up in that mouth.
Yeah, they have a lot of teeth.
Yeah.
Bit of a predator fish. Wow. I've been learning a lot.
Me too.
This is good.
We're gonna have to go fishing now.
I kind of, after seeing the mud puppy, I want to go find one. I want to go pet a mud puppy.
I've never run into them in the summer, but it's
No, I
all
was gonna
ice
say- I
fishing.
was gonna say ice fishing because you're in one spot for so long that if you're on top of one, it'll find you.
Yeah.
But when you're moving around in a boat, like you're going too fast, covering too much water, that they've got no chance really.
Yeah.
And I feel like they move to different spots in the summertime too.
And I'm curious, like, because they're cold blooded, so I wonder if that would make them like more lethargic in the wintertime, or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they're kind of that way all the time.
They're just
Yeah, and I think in the summers they probably just move up into real shallow, warm water and just
Yeah.
hang out.
Exactly.
They just bury themselves in the mud and wait for something to come by.
What
Huh.
a life.
yeah. What a life, right? And how much do you know about the fishing industry locally here?
Not a whole lot.
Because it's like it used to be huge.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah.
And Port Dover still have the largest freshwater commercial fishing fleet.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Because they're all there, and it wouldn't be what it was back in the day, but
No. So with the ministry now, and they do surveys and census on sample sizes of different species in the lake. So basically, they'll kind of get an idea of how many perch or how many walleye they ballpark are in the lake, and then based off those numbers, all the commercial guys, they get a quota, and the combined quota can't exceed
Combined
That
quota.
Yeah, so between all the fleet, all the boats in the fleet.
Yeah. Because I know like some of the restaurants there will freeze a ton of perch
Yep.
because you
Yep.
can't get it at all times of
Yeah.
the year because of that quota, I guess.
Yep.
Now I want to go to Port Dover, Erie Beach.
Get some perch.
Erie Beach, yeah.
Get that celery bread.
Oh,
too.
my
Oh my
god. The
gosh.
celery bread.
Yeah.
I was talking about that with Summer the other day. I don't think she didn't understand what it was.
With the celery bread.
Yeah.
People don't understand.
If
They're
you-
like,
if you
what,
don't know,
how,
yeah.
like what? And then you're like, oh, you know, they put the celery seeds like in the butter and then they bake. They're like, celery has seeds, and I was like, I know, right?
Yeah. It's something special.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, and like, why would you want bread to taste like celery? You're like,
I don't know either, but
typically
it's
you wouldn't want it to, but
the best.
yeah.
Oh yeah, and Summer's gluten free, so she can never experience it.
Ooh.
I feel like you need to make it
Or she just has to deal with the consequences one time.
or that.
It's
Just
probably
take
worth
a
it for
bite
the
and-
one time.
She's
or
like
that.
not gonna die. She'll just be
Not feel great.
violently ill
Yeah.
for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do it for the celery bread. For sure.
Be violently ill. Yeah.
Worth
for
it.
one bite.
Worth
I'd
it.
do it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would for a bite of celery bread right now
Oh man, what a bummer.
and a nice deep fried perch, beer battered.
Mm-hmm.
Or like a good, I like a good fish taco.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys will eat a fish
A
taco.
fish taco all day.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Do you guys have like a favorite place to get? Like, if you're not eating fish that you've caught, where do you get your fish, or do you even buy fish?
I honestly won't buy fish.
Oh, okay.
Unless I catch it and make it myself, I won't go out and buy it.
Do you buy anything because you hunt and fish, and I feel like your freezer is just packed.
Yeah, it's pretty packed. I don't buy a whole lot.
That's awesome.
Eat a lot of what I catch and kill.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't typically eat fish at restaurants too much unless it is like a seafood place. But I'll get fish and chips every now and then.
Yeah, I like fish and chips.
But last time I had fish and chips around here was would probably be at Lounge 33
Yeah.
because they use the hometown beer batter.
Oh,
there,
do
so,
they?
Yeah, use the Southern Ale as a batter.
Oh, nice.
I
Is it
gotta
better,
get
so-
over there and try that.
Pretty good.
Honestly, my favorite, my favorite chicken wing I've ever had, because I just have a thing for chicken wings. It's just so good. But it was Shelly's ones that she made with the blueberry beer. She
Yeah.
put it in the batter. Oh no, it was barbecue. She made the sauce out of the blueberry beer.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, double batter these chicken wings. Oh my god, to die for.
That is
Yeah,
Yeah, we're pretty lucky. We got a lot of good food around
Yeah.
here too.
yeah,
yeah.
we have such
So-
good food. Such good food. And you're not a hunter, right, Bobby? Just fishing?
Yeah, not really.
Not
into
really?
It. I've got all my gun licenses. I've got my hunter education course. I've got all that stuff. I could go at any time, but it's just I never really got into it. It's a lot more prep and a lot more time into the.
I like the
The-
idea of it.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I like it enough to dedicate all that time to, getting up at 4 a.m. and
Yeah.
traveling to Oshawa and catching these
Exactly.
fish. It's like, I don't know. I have too many other things on the go that I like. I'd have to cut something out, and I just don't
Yeah.
know if I want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, you just got to pick and choose what you want.
Yeah. And you're also a young, unmarried man, so you have a lot of time on your hands.
I got lots of time right now, so that's okay.
Now's the time to get up at 4 and go fishing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You'll get in trouble. One day you'll get in
Yeah.
trouble for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there like a dream fish you guys haven't caught? Like, do you want to go deep sea fishing, like tuna fishing? Like, what's a dream of yours?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, like probably a marlin would be cool to catch.
Yeah,
marlin.
black marlin.
Black
would be
marlin, blue
awesome.
marlin would be pretty. They get huge.
I-
And yeah, like fastest fish in the world.
Yeah.
yeah,
I do
super
know what a
fun.
marlin is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
A sailfish
Yeah.
also there as well. Pretty much any of the billfish really
Mm-hmm.
in the saltwater game. Bluefin tuna would be cool.
Yeah,
That'd
that'd be awesome.
What kind of tuna do we get on our coastlines here? Do you know?
On the coastlines, you get both. You get
Oh,
the
yeah.
yellowfin, you get the bluefin, and then there's all the smaller subspecies as
Yeah,
well.
There's tons of different
There's
types of
tons.
tuna.
Are they not endangered? Like, what one's super endangered? They go
The bluefin.
bluefin, but you can still fish for them.
Yep. So basically, from what I know in the states, the northern states have a season,
Mm-hmm.
and you can fish from said date to said end date.
And they'll
And
go
then-
for like tens of thousands of dollars. Per
Yeah,
fish.
Yeah, they can.
in the Asian market they go for a good amount of money. And then the southern states, I know they have a season as well, but they also have a quota combined into that season. So once that quota is filled and all the fish have been waiting at the stations and they hit a certain limit,
Even if the season's not over.
not over, it's done. The bluefin fishery is pretty heavily regulated now, just because if we almost lost them.
I watched a documentary. It was some fishing one that went around last year, but there's a lot of the marine biologists were like, hey, like if we stop fishing completely for like just a year, the whole ocean would almost be replenished to what it was like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, that's
because
probably
fish just
true.
respawn so fast and
Yeah.
in large numbers. So like even if we just gave the ocean a break for a year or two, like what it would do would be insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The just the weight of fish that we pull out of our oceans every year is insane.
Oof. It's scary.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know about the documentary? Can you maybe
I'm getting more and more
Yeah, I
hungry
forget
the more
what
we
the hell
talk
it's
about
called.
all these fish.
I've seen a few documentaries that talk about it.
Yeah.
This one
Yeah.
was super recent. I think it was on Netflix.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago and everybody was watching it. right?
Terrifying.
It's
Yeah.
on the tip of my tongue, but I can't.
And he was like
Bluefin?
going, no. It's a documentary, maybe 20.
Seaspiracy.
Yeah.
that
that was
Seaspiracy or
probably
something.
it.
Yeah.
And like, obviously, you do have to be careful because, they can put whatever information in there they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
It's
would
all
say for the
biased.
most part, it's somewhat accurate.
Yeah.
I would say. But I remember him going to Japan and like by that time they kind of knew what he was up to, so that he was getting banned from certain areas.
Yeah.
Oh.
And ironically, I remember him saying he sat on a flight back from Japan beside the minister of fishing or whatever his title was. And the guy started confronting him. He's like, yo, like you are fishing way too much. And the guy responded, my job is to feed my people. That's my only job. That's my only purpose.
And that's the tricky part too, is that so many people rely on the ocean as a food source.
Yeah.
So
And he was saying like, because there they hunt and, dolphin and stuff. But dolphins, I guess, really high in mercury. So they're feeding
Yeah.
like this very high mercury concentrated dolphin to their population. And he's like, so he questioned him. He's like, what do you think about that? He's like, again, my purpose is to feed the country.
Yeah.
So
it's a tough one.
wherever I have to get it from.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a country like Japan, it's not a very big landmass.
No.
So what resource do you have around you? You have
The ocean.
the ocean.
Yeah.
Right. So
And I guess they're known for whale fishing too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't think too many countries whale fish. It's like I don't think we do.
no.
No, we don't. I think Greenland does some whale fishing.
Yep.
They do pod. It's like
Yeah,
pod.
the
they have that
pod will
one.
come into the fjord and they'll
yeah, just massacre them.
yeah.
Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that.
Don't watch it.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's really
crazy.
sad.
It's yeah.
It hardly ever happens. Like it's not a common thing,
Yeah.
but it does happen.
I think it's just sad because they are so smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like self-aware animals, which
Right.
is, and then pretty scary. I feel like a sunfish is kind of like, just whip it out of the water. Like, not to say that, all life is precious, but
Yeah.
dolphins a little bit different. That's cool.
Puppies of the sea.
I've never done any kind of fishing in the sea before, so.
No, me
No.
neither.
Oh, really?
No, I've never fished saltwater at all.
I've done a little bit.
Yeah?
Just from like piers and went on a boat one time.
Like just once? You've only been on a boat once? No, I'm just
Only- one time on the ocean, only in a boat one time.
Cool. Okay. I've gone like whale watching, but never fished.
Yeah.
Yeah. My parents last summer went cod. My mom went cod fishing.
Yeah.
They caught like, I don't know, they had like 30 pounds of cod in their freezer.
That's awesome.
Every time I come over, my dad's cooking cod. But it was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a little charter out there.
Yeah, that's what they're known for out there.
Cod.
So that's their thing.
That's a big fish.
That's their thing,
Big
yeah.
white fish.
Yep.
Yeah. I feel like typically if you get fish and chips, it's normally cod.
a lot of cod, a lot of haddock.
Oh, haddock.
A lot of pollock as well.
I've never heard of pollock.
Basically the same fish.
Same
Haddock and
fish.
pollock are kind of the same.
Same fish. Okay. And I guess I would have to, like, I don't know what the history is behind England, but that's the fish and chip capital.
Yeah.
And they have cod there, I would assume, and haddock.
Yeah,
I think it's
I'm
haddock.
not too sure. Haddock seems to be a pretty popular fish and chip.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of what you get if you buy it at the grocery store, like in the frozen box.
Yeah.
kinda
The
deal,
white
right?
fish. Yeah, haddock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like seafood. I just sometimes I would eat lobster all the time if I could, but they're expensive.
It's pricey.
Yeah, when I go visit Hayden out in PEI, it's like I'm pretty sure I get a dozen oysters like every time I sit down at a restaurant because I just can't help myself. Are you oyster guys at all?
I've never tried oysters.
It's the texture throws me. The first few times I tried it, I couldn't get past the texture, and then like the fourth or fifth time, just kept trying it, and all of a sudden I was like,
Yeah.
I don't mind this. We were talking about it on our way to volleyball.
We were talking about it when I had someone. I was in South Carolina there.
Right.
At that seafood place we went to.
Right.
And yeah, they were good.
Oh, well, we're gonna have to try some oysters, Trav.
Yeah, I'll try some.
Yeah, it's like
Once you get past the texture thing,
Is the texture that bad?
it's like slurpy and like
slurpy.
jelly.
kind of like the jellyfish thing that we were talking about. What was
Yeah.
that called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember now.
And like originally people are like, just swallow it whole. But then I ran into some guys that have an actual oyster company. They're like, no, give it a couple chews.
Oh, I've never chewed them. I
All the
always just
flavors in
write
there.
Down. Well, when I do them, it's usually I eat and drink Norfolk with vodka.
Okay.
The oyster shots.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, they were telling me if you don't bite it, you miss out on the flavor. Because it like break open the flavor of the oyster.
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I've tried smoked oysters before.
Okay.
I didn't mind them. They weren't bad.
Yeah. Raw oyster is very different.
Way different.
I'm sure it is.
I've
but-
shucked a bunch too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was at Capital 33 hanging out with Jordan and
you to work?
no, after hours. We just stopped there to drop some. Ash had some wine to drop off, and we just got talking. And he was like, "You like oysters?" I'm like, "Yeah." I brought a box out. I was like, "Oh, I can shuck." So started shucking a
Nice.
bunch, and it was really good. Yeah. Thanks, Jordan. I think we shucked that whole box.
I think you were saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. I
That's
have
good.
an issue with oysters. I would probably eat like, I don't know, a couple dozen in a sitting. Probably shouldn't, but yeah.
How much mercury is in oysters?
I don't.
Well,
Not too much.
I wouldn't say too much, but they are filter feeders.
Yeah.
So basically, whatever they're filtering out of the water, it's
Oh.
what it's in them.
It's like a liver or whatever.
yeah,
in the
it's
water.
exactly. It's a aquatic liver for the most part.
Yeah.
I will also eat liver.
Okay.
I do like liver.
Yeah, so do I.
I've had it. Didn't like.
I don't know what it is. I'll just like see it on the menu, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, "Oh my god, I have to get this."
Really
Interesting.
I like crave it. I don't know. It's weird. I know like people say the same thing. Why would you eat that? It filters everything.
Yeah.
But then there's other people like, "Oh, it's rich in iron. It's rich in this.
It's
and
rich in all the
like
nutrients. Yeah.
everything's
Just like a
in
liver
it."
king. He's huge.
Oh god.
Liver king. Yeah.
And it's just from eating liver.
Yeah, but that guy was eating raw liver.
That's it. And that's all
And
he eats.
some other
That's it.
things.
No, no, that just liver. That's
No-
all that.
no
just
no
liver.
steroids.
No, all natural, just liver.
Yeah.
And some balls.
Well, yeah, a little bit
Oh,
of
he was
too.
eating that too, eh?
Testicles, yeah. Just a shock
Yikes.
value.
Yeah.
When you hunt, Trav, do you keep like what do you keep from the animal? Are you keeping liver and stuff, or
Yeah, a lot of times hearts, livers.
okay? Heart's supposed to be good for you too.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for organ meats.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I know there's like haggis is
yeah, it's
stomach?
a
The
stuffed
stomach
sheep
lining of a sheep,
stomach.
yeah.
Yeah.
right, and they cook intestines and then cook it in the
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, people eat tripe and stuff, which
Tripe.
is the stomach lining, and yeah. Nope, haven't got into that too much.
Yeah,
Not
I'll-
yet. Maybe one day.
Liver and heart, all cool with. Anything past that, I'm like, it's a little
Yeah.
I'll
strange.
pass.
Yeah, and most often actually, a lot of beers and stuff. I think Guinness has changed it, but they're not vegan because there's some process in the filtration.
Yeah, filtered
Fish,
through a
they use fish
bladder.
platters or something.
Fish blat. Yeah, I know a lot of wines are the same thing too.
Yeah, so they're not vegan.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, is this vegan? I'm like, no.
So yeah, knowing a few people that are like vegan or gluten, egg, dairy free, like they got to be careful and pick and choose their brands
Which beers.
and which beers and well, yeah, they're gluten, so even they're not really big beer drinkers, but their wines especially.
Yeah.
They got to be careful.
Really?
I wonder what it is. Like, you can look it
Yeah,
up.
I'd like to know how this works and what
Like
they actually do.
It's either a fish or it might even be like a sheep, like a sheep stomach as well. that
It's
they
something
they-
to do.
it's something with the process.
I don't know if there's like an enzyme or something in these fish bladders or whatever that helps the process, but I'm not 100%. Hey, Bobby, do you want to slide that fridge open? Can you grab me a spiced Coca-Cola? I want to try this thing.
I'm gonna try one too.
I'm good for now.
I grabbed these this morning. I went and saw.
Wait, I'll have something. What?
You want a spice?
Oh, a spiced Coca-Cola?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, I will have one of those.
I went and saw Doom Part 2 on Friday, and this was one of the advertisements on the big screen was spiced Coca-Cola, and I was like, oh,
I was gonna ask
like,
you
is
about
it
that.
spicy? What is it? And then I was buying ingredients for our cocktails and mocktails today, and I was like, oh, there it is. I'll grab it.
Just make sure when you drink it, labels out.
Oh, it smells.
Oh. Interesting.
Oh, with raspberry spice flavor. I was gonna say.
Oh.
Anyways, the
You wanna
fish.
try it?
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Lots of breweries
I don't mind it.
use isinglass, which is essentially a gelatin-like substance that's made by drying and processing the swim bladders of certain fish.
Okay.
Kind of like a candle.
Yeah.
It kind of tastes like a candle.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they use it to make beers appear clearer and brighter.
Oh,
Whether it's so I don't know if does beer get filtered? Yeah. Breweries often use fish bladders, more formally known as isinglass, for the filtering of cask beers. A lot of words I don't really.
Interesting.
I'm gonna have. Well, I'll definitely have some brewmasters on here, so
Yeah.
I will ask them. Yeah.
Does Hometown use fish bladders?
No, all of our beers are unfiltered.
Yeah. For context, Bobby works for Hometown Brew Co. Shout out to Hometown Brew. Yeah. My favorite is the wild wheat by far.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my favorite. Do they still have the little hidden dusty
Oh,
farmer
yeah,
on the can?
they got the little farmer on it still.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I don't know what my favorite hometown beer is actually.
I like a lot of like unfiltered wheat beers, German beers.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's why I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
I think mine's the wheat as well.
yeah.
Depends on the mood.
That's a big thing too.
Yeah. Like a pedal pilsner after like a nice bike ride.
Yep.
Suiting. And then if I want to just get into one, the hazies get me there.
We'll get you there quick.
Oh, very quick.
Yep.
What's a good fishing beer?
Good fishing beer.
Yeah.
Tackle Box by Hometown Brew.
Yeah. So the Sandboy Marina, they do a custom can with us. They have a sea can that they converted into a tackle shop.
Oh, cool.
So they have their own tackle box branded pilsner
Okay.
down there too. So it's got like the cool fishing lure wrap and everything on it.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as if you don't condone it, but if you are going to indulge in a beverage while fishing, I would go something a little light. I would go with the Southern Light, just because
What's the rule? My understanding is if you're on a boat on the lake and that boat has a washroom, you can drink alcohol on the boat
it has to have a washroom and a kitchenette.
and a kitchenette.
Why? What?
I don't know. But
There's some rules that
that's
are
just
confusing.
that's just the rule.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
The washroom one I get because they're thinking, oh, we don't want you peeing in the lake.
yep.
Maybe
You can't pee in the lake? That's a joke, right?
only if they know.
No, not legally speaking.
Really? You're
no.
not legally supposed
you're-
to pee in the lake?
You're publicly exposing yourself, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like going to a park.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it is like going to the park.
But I mean,
Like
in
if
a
you-
legal
Yeah.
sense,
In-
yes.
okay,
Obviously,
shit.
most people see it differently, but in a legal
Yeah.
sense, it's the same.
damn.
If you go for a walk around the block and you're like, I'm just gonna pee on this tree,
Yeah.
and a cop sees you, like they could technically find you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I've yeah,
They almost never will unless you make them mad before that.
yeah, cops.
Have you run into this problem, Drew?
I've run into the cops a few times.
Okay.
Never with that particular instance, but
Yeah, that would be a shitty one to get
Yeah,
fined
caught
for.
with
Just
your-
taking
Yeah.
a piss.
caught with your penis. In
How-
Your hand. I didn't know what word to
What do
use on
you-
the podcast.
Yeah, no, you can say penis. That's whatever.
Penis.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
How often you guys run into the ministry? It would like what kind of cop is out there? Is it
So out there, when
are they
you're out
water
fishing-
cops? Like what do you call them?
Water the Coast Guard.
Oh right,
Ah,
that's what
Coast
they're
Guard,
called.
or the
I'm calling them water cops from now on.
the water police. No, when we're out fishing, like we'll run into the Ministry of Natural Resources. They'll have conservation officers out there just checking people's licenses, kind of seeing what they're going for, just making sure everything's in order, nothing's suspicious. They're not there to ruin your day for the most part. They're just there to kind of check in.
Conserve.
Yeah, exactly. They got a job to do, and
Yeah.
I've run into them maybe 4 times. ever.
Okay. And what you obviously need a fishing license.
Yeah.
And these renew how often? Like every couple years?
You can get daily passes, you can get monthly, you can get yearly, or every 3 years.
Okay. I think that's the one I have. Like it's a sports fishing.
Well,
License?
there's sport
There's
and
two,
conservation licenses which determine your catch limits,
Got
and
it.
then you can get a daily, monthly, 1 or 3 year.
Okay. Okay.
I usually just go for the yearly pass, just because you're saving maybe a couple cents or a couple bucks getting the 3 year.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get my justification for the 1 year is that as soon as December 31st is up, I just know to get another license. If I
Yeah.
get the 3 year, I know I'll forget,
True enough.
and then I'll be fishing, and I'll
Yeah.
thinking I got it, and then it's just
Yeah, I typically do the 3 year because I'll buy my small games, my fishing license, and my outdoors card all at once, and then it's all good for 3 years.
Yep.
It's all good.
No worries.
Am I good to run to the washroom quick then?
You want to put it on pause? I think you just tap it. Just tap it. Yeah.
And we're
Everything
back.
All right.
Little washroom break.
Yeah.
Did anyone pee
Again.
in the lake?
Nope.
Oh, didn't have
Didn't-
time.
didn't
Not,
I-
not
yeah,
if the water
no.
police are looking.
True.
Or listening.
True.
Lynn River's pretty close though.
Yeah.
Good go there.
And I feel like, the river takes it away. And a little bit probably better to pee in a river as opposed to a lake.
Cleans it out.
I mean, it's just gonna go to the lake anyways, so you might as well just go to the lake.
True.
Save the hassle.
Hmm.
As long as it's not at the park.
Is that ever a problem for fishing? Like, has anybody dumped something into a river and then just fucked the whole area up?
Oh, I'm sure it's happened. Yeah.
That's always my fear. Is like I want to catch and eat all these fish, but I'm like, what am I? Is this?
Is
what's-
it a piss fish?
Yeah.
How much piss is this
Yeah.
fish? There was one question I wanted to ask about the fish. We talked about mercury earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do some fish filter or like contain more mercury on average?
So typically, the bigger the fish, the higher the mercury content because of the bioaccumulation.
Oh, okay.
So
Like
a
a bigger
big fish will
sponge.
eat a bunch of small fish that all have a little bit of mercury,
Ah.
so that it in turn will have all of that mercury in it.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's like instead of being a shot, you have taken 10 shots of alcohol.
Yeah.
Doing
exactly.
a shot that just ate a bunch of shots.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Yeah.
when you eat the tequila worm. It's
Yeah.
not regular.
Oh, okay. And like my understanding is mercury is just naturally occurring metal.
Yeah, it is.
So it's not from pollution. Is it from some of it from pollution?
some yes, some no. So
Yeah.
Because I think there are some metal processes or there's something to do with some kind of processes in factories that require heavy metals.
Yeah, mercury it used to be used in gold,
Okay,
like
that's
to pull the gold out
Yes.
of the other metals, iron and stuff like that in the raw dirt.
and then they would just kind of wash it away.
Yeah, they would just
Yeah.
wash it out and send it on down.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang. Who's it? What was I listening to? It might have been Joe Rogan, but he was eating a bunch of oh my god, hello.
Just
was-
full send.
He was eating a bunch of he was eating like canned sardines, like 4 of them a night, and then his doctor, he got a blood test, and his doctor was like, "Oh, you have like high concentrations of mercury and this and that." I'm like, what are you eating?
Yeah.
So he stopped eating that, and that's what it was.
that's yeah.
Yeah. Bobby, can we touch on our? It's essentially a goldfish, but the Waterford ponds and fishing with corn and stuff, because that is so
Yeah.
much fun.
Yeah, the carp fishing.
Yeah, carp. That's
Carp,
it.
yeah.
That's
So
it.
basically just a big freshwater goldfish for the most part. They can get like upwards like 40 pounds, 45 pounds here.
Whoa.
Over in Europe it's a sport. They actually have like rod clubs where they'll have a private pond and they will raise these fish just to grow and be caught in these ponds. Like you pay a membership like you would at a country club.
How
Carp club.
how
Carp
much money would I have to pay you to eat that fish? I feel like that's probably the dirtiest of all dirty fishes to eat.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cultural thing too. Like
Yeah.
they're known as a kind of a trash fish. They eat whatever off the bottom.
Mhm.
But over in Eastern Europe, they're a delicacy.
Yeah.
So it's pretty common. They eat.
It's pretty common.
Yeah, it's pretty common.
They're just
Yeah.
like oversized goldfish.
Yeah, it's like anything. If you know how to prep it and you know how to take the fishier flavors out, like how to lemon juice or whatever, however it's prepared, you can make it taste decent.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you're catching a 45-pound carp,
Yeah.
there's a lot on
I know
there.
over in Hungary,
yeah, a ton of
it's like a delicacy where they'll actually purchase a carp, and then for the entire month, like right around Christmas time, they'll put the carp in the bathtub, and they'll like
Yeah.
it's like a big ritual thing. And
Is it alive?
yeah, it's alive.
Okay.
And then you can either do two things with it. You can either release it back, which most people do, or you eat it.
They just let it hang out in the bathtub.
Let it hang on the bathtub, and it's
We
just
just
like,
have a
it's
bathtub
just
carp
it's
for
just-
the month.
Have a bathtub carp,
Just
and yeah, then a lot of people just when you put it back, it's just
do
like
they
a
like
symbolic thing.
confess their sins to it, like in private? Like everyone goes in the bathroom, like tell the carp what you did wrong this year.
Carp fashion.
Yeah, yeah, carp fashion.
No, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what my dad was telling me about that. He's got some Hungarian in him, and he says that yeah, it's a thing.
Interesting.
So
Really?
Huh.
so it's a cultural thing with the carp.
And
But I personally wouldn't eat them. But I mean, I would try it if I had someone that
Yeah.
knew how to prep it
Yeah.
properly.
because I remember you taking me out there
Yeah.
to Waterford Ponds, and I was like, "What's the can of corn for, Bobby?" Like,
That's
oh,
what-
this is bait.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what they are.
oh, yeah.
They're bottom feeders. So they just kind of they got two little like barbels on their upper lip. Kind of looks like a mustache, and it
Mhm.
just picks up scent in the water. And
Are they like where do they are they invasive? Are they
so they yes and no. So they are not native.
okay?
But they were invasive when they originally came, but they have now settled into a category known as naturalized.
Okay,
So they're an invasive species, but they've essentially worked their way into the ecosystem, and it's no longer affecting it
they found their
detrimentally.
place.
They found their
Yeah,
place
yeah.
essentially.
Okay,
So I know when they were first introduced, like what we know as the common carp, they were they go around, they look for it, they shovel their nose through the bottom looking for whatever to eat, and they bring up all the metals and all the dirt. They made clear ponds murky,
Got
kind of
it.
just disturb all the sediment that's been sitting there for who knows how long.
got it.
So they've worked their way in. They're naturalized, but there are a bunch of species of carp, the grass carp, the buffalo carp, the silver carp, that are popping up in the Ontario waterways that are still considered invasive. They've got a real problem down in the States, some of those river systems down there where they're messing up the ecosystems pretty good. So, yeah, common carp are fine. They're naturalized, but there are some Asian species that have made their way into North American waterways, and they're not too sure what the impact of those fish are yet.
Got it. Got it. Carp.
But they fight hard. They're fun.
Oh yeah, they're a great
Yep.
fish to catch, and like the fishing's easy. You just throw it out and wait, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's real fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the only thing I can really compare it, well, I've heard people compare it to just being like catching a freshwater. It's like a freshwater redfish. They fight the same way.
Yeah.
Do you have any pictures on your Instagram or anything?
Not on my Instagram. I got them on my
yeah.
phone.
Yeah. I got
Do you
a
want
bunch
to
of pictures.
Do you
of
want to
carp.
drop one to Drew?
Sure.
I just
How is that gonna?
you have an iPhone?
I do have one.
or you can drop it to the computer.
I was gonna say if you drop it to me, then I'd drop it to the.
I just want to.
Let me just pull up my.
I know
big
what it looks
fish
like, but I
album.
just want
Yeah.
to show him. Because I feel like when you're like, oh yeah, we're catching carp, but then like you see a picture
Yeah.
and you're like, whoa, that thing is huge. Is it true that some people will flush goldfish and then they'll just somehow make it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's happened. I've seen them all over the place fishing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think I had a goldfish. Oh, I did have a goldfish. My parents used to have goldfish in the pond outside,
What's-
but damn right, I couldn't.
Is the airdrop just your name?
It should be just MacBook.
MacBook, it's not popping up.
That's okay.
Yeah. Oh, I've got here. I gotta send it to Drew.
Oh, there you go.
I got it. Oh, that's yeah.
Yeah.
That's a carp.
Yeah.
I would eat that. Dude, how did? Okay, now I gotta.
I mean, you don't have to drop it there. It's fine, but
I'll just.
It's all
Here you
good.
go, GoPro.
yeah, look at the size of that thing.
That one there was
How we should do it.
26.
Hold the
Oh,
camera up. To
that was
the
26
GoPro.
pounds. That one, and it measured about 36 inches long, and pretty much as round as it was. Round as it was long.
So fat.
It's fat.
It doesn't look like a tasty fish either.
No, I like I said, I catch them and let them go.
Have you ever ate?
Nope.
No.
Never eaten one of those.
Well, I think this December we should put one in a bathtub.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. Might as well.
There's lots of them there.
But yeah, I could find a chef that could cook carp. Probably
Oh, I'm
know
sure
a
you
chef that
could,
could do it.
Yeah, apparently if you're gonna eat them, they're best smoked.
Yeah,
is
that's what I've heard.
That seems to be the trick for most things.
For most
Yeah,
things that
for
don't
most
just
weird
smoke it.
things,
for
just
most things that
smoke
don't
it.
taste good normally, just smoke it. So,
Yeah.
then it'll taste good. Yeah.
Yeah, although I do love smoked salmon and salmon.
I
on
was
its own.
just
Yeah,
thinking
that's
that.
good.
You ever had smoked candied salmon?
Yeah, it's good. I do enjoy smoked trout and salmon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like jerky salmon you can buy in bags. You ever seen that?
No, I haven't.
You know, you just buy beef jerky, whatever. They have like salmon versions of it.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen it
I
at
can
gas
see it, yeah.
stations.
I've seen it as like
Oh,
dog
really?
treats, but not as
You can see that.
people treats.
Yeah, people treats.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know, like, I mean, yeah, I don't know the curing process, but it's chilling in that bag for a while.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me, I had to burp up my spiced Coca-Cola. It's not bad. I don't understand where the spice part comes from, but
Yeah,
I-
it's just flavored.
I think I'd rather a normal Coca-Cola over this.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
That's fair.
Cherry Coke's good. Vanilla Coke's good.
Yeah, I do like those Cokes.
But if I'm gonna drink pop, it's just a good A&W with a burger.
Oh,
A&W root beer.
Yeah.
Oh. What are your guys' thoughts on fish fillets?
make fish fillets?
The filet of
filet
fish.
of fish.
The
Yeah.
fish.
Oh, sorry, filet of
I have
fish.
a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
strong opinion on it, but you guys
Oh,
go.
you do?
Yeah, but you
I've-
guys go first.
I've never had one.
You're
So
It's made from tiny little fish. You could probably look it up, but it's
I don't
yeah.
want to.
You don't want to. You don't want to know what it's made of.
Well, because I actually love it.
I've
pretty rare.
never tried one, but I don't think I will.
yeah. I mean, it's a fast food
It's
fish patty.
Fast food fish. I'm not big on fish anyways.
Yeah.
And getting it from McDonald's.
Alaskan pollock. Sounds delicious.
We were talking about
Alaskan
pollock, weren't we?
Yeah,
Good
okay.
fish,
Well,
yeah.
then it's fine.
And
Yeah.
then don't look at the rest of it because it doesn't matter. It's just a bunch of water enriched bleached white flour, modified cornstarch, yellow corn flour, salt, sugars, dried yeast, paprika, turmeric.
Okay.
Anyway,
So
just normal
sounds
normal breading.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
really nothing wrong with any
No.
of that stuff, though.
So like it's surprisingly the best hangover cure would be a fillet of fish and an iced tea with a medium French fry was
Well,
Really?
it slapped.
I don't know if I'd want fish in a coffee
You don't
after
you think
drinking.
No,
but-
not a
Yeah.
coffee, no coffee.
Oh, what did you say?
iced tea.
Oh, iced tea, okay.
Iced tea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Iced tea, fillet
okay.
fish. It's just so refreshing. It feels like it's just an IV drip of health into you when you're hungover.
I think just going fishing is even better.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, just get up and go.
Yep.
That's what you got to do.
Oh, I'll do that.
Is there do you fish at a certain, like, I know people are like, oh, you got to fish when the sun is low, like early in the morning or at sunset. Is that a thing?
It,
Yeah.
Can you just fish
It-
whenever?
It can be.
Yeah, it certainly can be. It depends on the fish, the time of the year. Right now, steelhead fishing, a lot of guys are doing better middle of the afternoon because that's when when the water's the warmest.
Okay.
That's when the fish are starting to get active again.
Okay.
Yeah. It depends on a number of factors too. Time of day, moon phases,
Yeah.
barometric pressure. All that stuff plays into when fish feed and when they're just not going to hit no matter what you throw at them.
There's so many variables.
There's a lot of
Oh,
variables.
yeah.
Yep.
It's very overwhelming for me.
Temperature,
This is why I haven't
weather
dove in.
patterns, wind.
Yeah.
It all comes into play. It's never the same.
This is when I'm like, oh, I want to go fishing. Let's pull Bobby up on my phone. Hey, buddy.
But that's the thing. Just, you don't have to know everything. Just go fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah. Pretty much goes for anything you want to do. Just
Yeah. Just do it. Just
try.
Just
yeah,
do it.
Just
that's
start.
all I did. Nobody taught me. I just wanted to go fishing, so I just kept going fishing until I learned.
There is a trick though, because I remember going kayak fishing with Bobby, and we're fishing same kayak,
Yeah.
pretty much same everything, same bait, same area, everything's the same, and he's pulling them up like every couple minutes, and I haven't gotten anything in like 15, 20 minutes.
Yep.
What are you doing that I'm not doing?
It's again putting it in the right spot.
spot.
Where
Yeah.
where we're fishing there at Deer Creek, like it's a deep drop off. So the closer you can get up into the bank under the trees, the better. And then a lot of times they're just sitting there in the shade, they're waiting for something. So if you can get the bait to the spot, then they're there. You're gonna get them.
Yeah,
But if you're off by like a foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, then totally different game.
what were we catching that day? Largemouth mostly.
Largemouth bass, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then I assume there's a smallmouth.
Yep.
Is there a
yeah.
medium?
No.
Not
Just
a
small
medium.
and big.
There is other bass.
There are other bass species, but
but
Ah.
there's no medium mouth. No.
So what's in season right now for fish? Anything?
again, it depends on where you're fishing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a lot of in the lake right now, if you're fishing Lake Erie, pretty much everything is open except for muskie and bass.
Okay. What's a muskie?
It's in the Esox family.
Okay.
It's like
So it's not
similar to a pike,
Okay.
not a pickerel.
Not a pickerel.
Or kind of a pickerel.
kind of a pickerel.
Not a walleye.
Not a
More
walleye.
Yeah.
pickerel than pike.
Yeah.
Yes.
But and yeah, they're kind of the lucrative species. They're the biggest. They're the hardest to catch.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
nicknamed the fish of 10,000 casts.
Oh wow.
Yep. And they are out in the lake.
Stoic.
But yeah. You can get them in the Saugeen River has them, but the real mecca for Ontario, there's a few lakes up north, and then Lake St. Clair down in Windsor
Yeah.
is one of the holy grails.
As well as for smallmouth, Lake St. Clair.
Yeah, St. Clair's good.
Yeah.
I fished a few kayak tournaments for smallmouth in St. Clair, and it's nuts.
I was gonna ask that. Are you guys often in fishing tourneys?
Not too often.
No.
No. I fished a few.
Because there's some significant cash prizes.
Can be, yeah.
Yeah.
You do usually have to put up some significant cash to get those prizes, though.
Okay.
Yeah, like you have to pay your entry fee to get in there.
Got it. And that's where
they
that.
pool all those entry fees to give you your prize.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I've never fished any powerboat events, but I've done quite a few kayak events.
There's one in Dover, I think, every year. That's pretty big.
Oh, the perch
The
derby.
perch
That's
derby.
a-
Derby,
It's
yeah.
just like that's a fun little derby they throw on there. They have a bunch of tagged fish
Okay.
that have a monetary value to them.
Okay. Yes.
And then you have a chance at catching these fish a lot. The prices or the prize can range from anywhere from like $100 tagged fish all the way up to like $500 or $7,500.
They usually give
Whoa.
a boat away or something too, don't they?
And then you just have to enter to be entered for the prizes.
Yeah.
You just register, and then they give like usually like a little 10-foot Zodiac boat with like a 10 horse and 9.9
That
motor
sounds
on the
pretty
back.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Well,
so you got a chance.
I
at
don't
that.
have a boat, so maybe I should enter this.
Yeah, you
It's,
should.
it's
Derby.
$20, and then
Yeah.
When is it?
it's usually the last week of April, and then it goes in towards Mother's Day weekend. It's usually about 2 weeks.
Okay.
It's coming up.
Well, Drew, should we
let's
enter
do
the
it.
perch derby?
We'll bring all the gear
Yeah.
and just do another podcast with you guys.
We'll be sitting on a bucket just.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
I definitely do want to do an ice bucket or an ice bucket. I was about to say ice bucket challenge.
Ice bucket challenge.
Ice fishing podcast. That would be so much fun.
That'd be
That
fun.
would be fun.
Or we
Yeah.
could if we could figure out doing one in a boat too. Would be.
A boat
Yeah.
one would be
Yeah.
cool just because I
That would be
really want to
cool.
be on a boat.
Yeah.
Should definitely do a boat.
Just like not on a windy day, or it'd have to be in a boat that has like a.
We can just get
Yeah.
little
Cove
dead
underneath.
cats for these.
Yeah, we could do that. Even with that, sometimes it's
And a generator and everything to like power all
Just
stuff.
like
Think about
six lithium-ion batteries.
Yeah.
And this, like it's
Yeah.
not that bad.
yeah.
It's only a little bit of money.
Exactly.
yeah.
And then we'll do one in like in a blinder when we're hunting with
hunting.
Travis.
Yeah, that'd be
Hell
awesome.
yeah.
Just be like, what do you think of that? Oh, 1 second, bang.
That'd be cool. We could do a turkey season.
Yeah.
Do you have to be quiet during turkey season?
Yeah.
Just
Be a
It's
lot of whisper.
2-hour podcast of just
It'd be an ASMR podcast
Well, we
for
could
sure.
sit in the blind and see what happens.
have some beers.
Watch from afar. We could.
Are you allowed? Oh, is that another thing?
That's something I don't typically do is drink while hunting or fishing, but some
Yeah.
people do, some
Yeah.
people don't.
Are there?
There-
What are the? I'm assuming you can't drink and operate a gun. That
No,
would be illegal.
absolutely not.
Yeah,
You
that makes a
cannot.
lot of
No.
sense.
But I mean,
kind of like
if
driving.
we're just sitting there in the blind, not actually hunting,
Yeah.
no problems.
Yeah, if the gun is out of arm's reach, then a beer can be within arm's reach.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how.
I don't know
this
if that would hold up
matters.
in
it's
court.
kind of. I think that's up to the discretion of whoever catches us. But
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think same for ice fishing. It's like you're not supposed to be.
no,
You're not
Beers
supposed
out
to be,
there.
but I mean, they're pretty
Yeah,
cool about it as long as you're not operating a vehicle like a side by side.
Yeah, so whoever
So
drove
whoever's
the,
driving, as long
yeah.
as they're not drinking, they're usually okay with it.
yeah,
But
and there's not beer cans laying around the ice and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, if you
exactly.
don't make a
as long
mess,
as you're
you're not.
respectful and you're not being dumb,
Yeah,
then for the most part they'll be like, just tone it down.
Yeah.
But just enjoy your day.
that's when you need just a little fireball in your
Little
jacket,
nipple.
you know, with your
Yeah.
jacket there.
What do they call them?
What-
Not nipples.
What are we talking about right
The
now?
little fireball things. I forget. There's some name.
Specifically for the little fireballs?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know the name.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't think it's nipple though.
Doesn't sound right.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what they call those little bottles. You know, sometimes they'll tag it on the end of a
Yeah,
big
like a
bottle.
little sampler bottle. I don't know.
They're like a one little 2 ounce pour or something like that.
My girlfriend's mom, that was my advent calendar this year for Christmas.
No
was
way.
just 25 little samplers.
That's what I want.
yeah,
That's
it
fun.
was actually a pretty awesome advent calendar.
I went to like a Friendsmas and somebody got one. It was all hot sauces. And I'm like a hot sauce fanatic. So I was like, yo, give me the hottest one. I want to try it. And I think it was Ghost. So I tried a little bit. And this girl next to me, she was like pretty drunk. She's like, give me that. Spins the cap off, goes gluk, gluk, gluk.
Uh-oh.
All of us pause. We're like, what did you just do? She's like, what? I don't think she knew it was the hottest one either. And then you just see her like turning beet red. And then she goes out front and starts chucking,
The
throwing
slow
up.
burn. It gets
She was done for the night.
Poor thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
the hot sauce one is next year's advent calendar for us.
Oof.
So
I saw a fishing one this year. One of my buddies got one.
Like
It had
a
a different
fish?
lure.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
it's
there's a different fish.
Yeah,
It's all
Everyone.
raw bait.
Yeah. yeah.
You're gonna
there's-
get a mouse,
got leeches.
leeches.
That'd be pretty good. Different live bait and
Yeah.
for every day.
Have you ever got a leech on you fishing?
Not on like a wild one.
Yeah.
No.
No, but
What about a tame one?
There's no, but there's like they do sell them in bait shops.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, when
and
I
like,
looked at the
for
bait shop.
smallmouth bass, they're really good. I don't really use them, but when I was doing guided tours, it was kind of a sure way to
Yeah.
hook some smallies. But yeah, you're taking them out of the styrofoam container, putting them on the hook, and they'll like latch on your hand
Yeah,
for a
that's
little
something
bit.
as a kid I always was terrified of.
Yeah.
Going into the water, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a leech.
It's not
on
that
me.
bad, but I mean, but when they do latch on, they're tricky to pull
Yeah.
off.
I used to have to sort 5-gallon buckets of 'em
Oh,
when I
yeah.
worked at the bait
Really?
shop.
Leeches?
Yeah.
Oh.
Leeches.
I'd be out.
You have to go in, pull out
Sort
the dead
them?
ones, and
Oh.
sort them into sizes,
Yep.
stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, they're pretty nasty.
They're like worms
They're
that can
just
bite you.
yeah,
They're
they're
like
real
Worm
slimy.
tick
and
hybrid.
Yeah.
They smell horrible
Yeah, they're
too.
Do they?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that slime on them is just
Yeah,
like
it's awful.
real fishy.
That's what the fish love. They're just like,
Yeah, it's a real alkaline smell to it.
My cousins have talked about it because they're nurses and they use it in the medical field, leeches for infections and things like that. But they'll just pull this huge leech out and they're like, you'll know when it's done feeding because like it's huge.
It's big.
Like
Yeah.
it like 10 times the size of its original.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what do you do with it? Well, it's like medical, could be infected with bad blood, so we just like incinerate it, but super strange.
All good.
Something was going off potato. I saw this off potato.
Oh, that would be my wife.
Her name in your phone is potato.
My beautiful potato. 'Cause
Oh,
Nice.
it's been like that since we first year dating.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
your potato.
Well, she's just obsessed with potatoes. Potato
Potatoes.
chips, French
Yeah.
fries, anything with potatoes.
That's pretty
She's,
cute.
You
she's
can't
all
go
about.
wrong. You can't go wrong with a potato though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's good
Yeah.
every way.
So I
It
I,
is.
I changed her name in my phone to that. So
That's fucking adorable.
Yeah. and it's funny when that comes up to people. Yeah.
Fuck is potato?
Sorry, what were we talking about? Leeches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leeches, yeah.
Fuck leeches.
Opposite
I've
of
only seen it
potatoes.
a while. I had a friend. I think it was like up near Sauble Beach, Huron area, but he had one on his ankle, and it was on there, and we couldn't get it off. The one girl was trying to burn it with her cigarette, and it was just like squirming.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to do.
Oh, Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard you're supposed to like put a lighter up to them.
No, because they'll just grab on harder,
Oh.
usually. Yeah.
How do you get them
or
off?
you're going to burn yourself long before you're going to make that thing let go.
Okay, wow.
Just scrape them off with a credit card.
credit card?
Yeah.
I've heard salt. Like if you
Yeah,
cut
salt.
Salt?
Same. It's kind of the same idea with fire, though. I feel
The-
like you're probably just going to make it grab on harder.
Credit card.
Yeah.
Because they're scared of financial debt.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah.
Yeah.
No,
So,
not
yeah.
TD Bank.
It can be any card. It can be your, I don't know, membership to.
Fishing license?
Yeah, it can be a fishing
It could be.
license
There you
because
go.
you should have
You
it
should
on
ha-
you
yeah,
when
yeah.
you're
Have
out
it on-
fishing.
Should have it
Yeah.
on you
Yeah.
at all times.
That'd be a
Yeah.
good ad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so for someone who's listening to this podcast and they have never gone fishing but they want to get into it, how do we help them? What's the first step?
First step would be getting the fishing license.
Okay.
And you
Yeah.
just go
I
to,
thought so.
And it's as simple as Googling fishing license Ontario. It takes you to the government of Ontario website, and then you can purchase it all online from there.
And as far as equipment goes, like, is there fishing rods where you don't have to spend $500 on?
Oh,
gear?
yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
You can get a combo for, I don't know, probably $40.
40,
something like
$50
that.
bucks, yeah.
Oh,
40,
really?
$50.
When I worked for Bear Fishing Adventures, we did learn the fish programs where we pretty much worked right from the ground up
Yeah.
and got the basics. And I always recommended like an ugly stick
Yeah.
to someone starting out. They're like $50.
Is that
They're
a brand of it?
Yeah,
It's called
yeah,
Ugly
they're
Stick.
called ugly stick, and they're basically their whole shtick is that it's an unbreakable fishing rod.
Oh, nice.
So you can like get this thing stuck in a tree.
Oh, it's just
or,
a durable, cheap
It's so
fishing
durable.
rod.
Yeah,
they're great.
exactly. It's great for somebody new starting out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or someone with kids, and the kids are just
Yeah.
a little careless with where the rod's going. It's up in a
Yeah.
tree. It's banging up on the ceiling in their house or
Okay.
whatever. It's not going to break. The guides are indestructible.
Okay.
It's a completely like fiberglass build.
Okay.
Super sensitive.
I have fishing rods. What they are, I have no
Yeah.
idea. You'd have to tell me.
Yeah.
But they're decent.
But yeah, then I would recommend that. Usually, probably just a spinning reel. There's button
Yeah.
casters. Button casters are a mess. That's the typical beginner rod.
Yeah.
I'd just say go to the spinning combo right away. It's
And-
a little bit to learn, but
Are you recommending artificial lures versus like worms or leeches or anything like that?
If your goal is just to catch your first fish,
Yeah.
worms, minnows are
Worms.
great.
yeah.
Okay.
yeah, just live bait on a hook. That's all you
Yeah.
need. It's as easy as that.
Mm-hmm.
My dad used to buy food color, like dyed worms. They were green.
I remember that
Like
trend.
bright
yeah,
green
yeah.
worms.
It was like
I've never seen those.
it was like a kit. So basically, it was like a worm box, and it came with the dirt, and then it had some sort of nutrient in the soil
Yeah.
where they would eat eat the soil and turn it into whatever.
but
then
like
the color
bright
would,
green.
yeah, they were bright green.
Like a
they would
gummy
seep,
worm.
They would seep right
Really?
in, and they would
Yeah.
turn the worm green.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I mean,
So-
it wasn't. I don't think it really made a difference because they're not
No,
around
probably
anymore.
not,
But
yeah.
it was a cool thing. I did it a couple times, but it would take like a week for the worms to get green
Oh, yeah.
before.
Yeah.
I have to try
I
that
mean,
out. Might be
Okay.
my new technique.
figure out how do I make my worms green?
Yeah, exactly.
So fishing license, cheap fishing rod. What was that fishing rod called?
The ugly stick.
The ugly stick.
It's made by Shakespeare. Shakespeare's
Yeah.
the big brand there that makes that. That's just one of their products. And
Okay.
it usually comes comboed with a reel, a decent enough reel.
Okay.
Yeah,
A
it'll
lot
get
of
you
them,
by.
a lot
Is
of
it-
them are already pre-spooled with fishing line on them.
Is a tackle box necessary?
I hardly ever used a tackle box growing
really?
up. I just throw whatever I needed in my backpack and,
And
go.
go.
Yeah, like I've got tackle boxes just to sort out different things. But yeah,
Yeah.
depending on what I'm going for, I'll just pick and choose a couple things.
And
Bring
do
it
you
all in.
guys do you have a glove? Because I know a lot of the fish have, some spikes
Yeah,
on them. And
I don't, but I mean it's not a bad idea if you're a little hesitant to touch a fish, or
Yeah.
if you don't want to, or you're worried about the spikes. Then there are fish handling gloves out there, but I wouldn't say that's super necessary.
Yeah. If you're scared of touching the fish, it worries you at all, get the gloves because you don't want to be holding that fish out of the water longer than it has to be, right?
yeah.
You don't want to be sitting there thinking about it.
Yeah.
You want to be able to just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And eventually you'll warm up to the fact that
You have to touch this
it's
fish.
not that big of a
not that
deal,
big of a
deal.
and you can do it.
You do it a few times,
Yeah.
and then you get the hang of it.
It looks a lot scarier than it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. What got me was like somebody teaching me to hold fish, in the mouth
In
or
the
the
mouth.
gill or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, what?
Yeah.
Like stick your finger in?
Yeah.
Except for pike.
Except for pike.
Yeah, there's a few fish you definitely don't want to do that with.
What are some other fish?
You probably not walleye, some trout and salmon species.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Bowfin.
Yeah, they got some nice teeth.
What's
Yeah.
a bowfin?
It's basically it's a prehistoric fish
Yeah.
native to North America.
Yeah, it is actually native. A lot
Pull
of
it-
people think it's not.
pull it
They're
really-
actually, I had this argument with my buddy this morning that bowfin are native to this area. He didn't believe me.
Pull up a bowfin.
They've been
here.
around as long as the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
like
they're-
ancient.
They're a prehistoric
Yeah.
species.
A lot of people have probably heard of snakehead.
Very
they,
similar.
They look a lot like that. And when they spawn, they turn bright green. It's
yeah,
really
they're
cool.
really cool.
Yeah.
There's a green one.
Yeah.
There.
Like the worms.
Like the
Oh, yeah. Go to that green one over there.
yeah.
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 Okay, I can see why they're called snakehead. Snakeheads. Okay.
No, these guys.
Yeah,
they're
these
called,
are- these are bowfins.
Oh, those are bowfins.
Snakeheads
Yeah.
are native to Asia.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're an invasive
They're-
species down in the States they deal with a lot. They just seem to be a lot more common.
Yeah.
And they look somewhat similar to this
Snakeheads
fish.
look awesome.
Yeah, they're super cool
Ooh.
fish.
Can you eat a bowfin?
Yep.
You
Okay.
can eat them.
Apparently they're great. I've never tried
I've
one,
never tried
but
one.
I've heard that they're great.
And we have bowfin here.
Yep.
Yeah, catch them all the time.
That's
What
where you,
the fuck
That's
is
where you
that?
don't want to put your fingers.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the painting.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, there's some teeth in there.
Yeah.
Oh, you definitely don't want to put your finger in there.
No.
Do they have tongues?
It is it's
I
a
never
weird
really thought
tongue,
about
but it
fish
is
Most
having
fish-
tongues.
most fish
but-
do, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Dang. Very cool. Anything else you want to touch on before we wrap this pod up? I know you were saying we could just have a whole podcast on steelhead salmon.
We could
Oh,
do this.
yeah,
we
we
could do this
can-
for 3 days.
Yeah,
like
we
it's-
could do this for the next 2 years probably.
Well, I'm sure there's fishing podcasts. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
all they do is fishing?
all they talk about is fishing.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Do you guys watch a lot of TV shows or YouTube channels?
more so YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah,
YouTube-
YouTube. I
YouTube's
listen
big.
to a
That's-
lot of podcasts too.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't listen to too many podcasts, but I know they're out there,
Yeah.
and plan on doing that anyway.
There was a young girl that had a local cable show, I think. At a Port
Yeah,
Rowan.
Avery Rose.
Avery Rose.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is
Yep.
kind of cool.
Yep, she's on YouTube as well.
Good fisher.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
To be on a show.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, we'll have to go out as a posse and
Yeah,
go
for
There you
fishing.
go.
sure.
They'll be able to put all the talk,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Gonna get my
To prove
ugly
it, yeah.
stick out.
get your ugly stick
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Means you're gonna buy ugly sticks.
Yeah.
Hey,
Um,
they're great. I have a couple that I use actually myself.
Ugly
So,
sticks.
Yeah, I got just like my little panfish rod is an ugly stick, and then I've got the carbon series, which are like their top of the line ones that are.
Ooh.
Doesn't sound
A not so
they're
ugly
pretty awesome.
stick.
It's not. It looks really nice.
Pretty-
Is it
pretty
actually
stick.
Sexy stick.
sexy stick? Is the name of the rod actually ugly stick?
Yeah.
It's
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's ugly stick. STIK.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
Some good branding there.
it's good. Yeah, and they've been around for
Yeah.
forever.
And you can find them anywhere. Canadian Tire, Walmart, anywhere.
Yeah. Where do you guys go to get equipment?
It depends. I try to support the local guys
Yeah.
as much as I can. There's a couple angling outfitters in Woodstock.
Okay.
They
Yeah,
got,
they're a great
they got,
spot.
They got a lot of stuff out there.
So you're not going to like Bass Pro Shop.
Not for the most part.
No, not typically. I find a lot of the times they don't have exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
They have a very general, just fishing stuff, but it's not as specific as nowadays that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So I'll go to the small tackle shops or I'll order directly from the manufacturer.
I love going to Bass Pro. I don't know. I don't hunt. I don't fish. I don't do anything.
Just go look at the tank.
I just love looking at the guns and the stuff.
Yeah.
And like, wow, one day.
That's a fun
You gotta
place.
test the product. You gotta put your lure up to the tank and see.
Yeah.
Does it
See
work?
if it works or not.
Yeah.
Wait, that's a thing?
No.
No.
People joke about that. They're like, gotta test the product out before I buy it. And they'll have like a crankbait.
Yes.
And,
yes,
they'll, and they'll
yes.
like tease the fish with it. And then if they go kind of look at it, then he's like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, this is gonna work.
It's gonna work. This is
It's gonna
gonna
work well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can wrap it up. We'll
Sure.
have you guys back on, and we can.
Yeah. sounds
Hopefully, I'll
good.
be a little more educated, and we can dive.
Yeah,
in,
well, we
deep
can
dive.
get a little more specific. We talked about so much and just like touched.
Yeah, exactly.
We touched on so little of so much.
Yes.
is what it is. Yeah.
Yes. I think
Like-
what we need to do is we'll go fishing with you guys, and then we can come back and do a pod, and we can talk about it.
Yeah, and we can
That's a good-
dissect that a little more.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right.
Cool.
Great idea.
Well. Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at
Nice.
that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's for you guys. Thank you for educating us so
No
much.
problem.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
Thanks for having
It
us.
was awesome.
Till next time.
Till
Thanks,
next
everybody.
time. Cheers.
All right.